Welcome back to EPIC44. It's the upper bracket final. I'm Waxin, joined by Sheep, and you can't hear me to save your lives. There we are. Welcome back to EPIC44 for the upper bracket CS2 final. Sheep, take this one, please.
We're here and we're ready to go. It was, of course, a slight delay, as many viewers may have noticed that the start time was supposed to be 9 p.m., but we have moved it back a bit, but that is for good reason. Not the reason team. It was Aidsens versus Antarctica giving us fireworks in the LAN halls.
Absolutely. I would also like to ask you, what time zone are you on? Because I think it was meant to be 7 p.m.
Oh, wait. It's 5. It's 17 p.m. This has been a great start.
We are popping off right now.
Yeah.
Shall we take it from the top?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Upper bracket final. Alaska, the favorites already made it. They've been waiting for their opponents for several hours as they are now officially joined by 8 sins. So both of these teams confirmed top 3.
Yes, if you want to see some beautiful score lines, look over towards those lower brackets. It's been banging from 10 a.m. all the way through. We've had some amazing games, and Aidsens now won't have the most ideal situation with having played 3 rigorous maps up against Antarctica.
Yep.
Now to prepare here for Alaska. Alaska are going to be rested and well, and they are going to be looking to not lose many rounds again.
At the same time, we got to commend Aidsens because it was a bloodbath. They had overtimes. The final map went all the way to 24, barely getting it over the finish line with 13-11 on Nuke. But I got to ask you, Sheep, based on your experience, when you get these type of teams, one of them not just has time to rest, but maybe even watch the way you approach the map. Are they going to be more prepared than ever before?
Well, I actually do know that the Alaska guys were just taking a rest, right? They were doing some community games. They were on the big stage, right? There was a parkour map going on. I saw Tree just eating some chips. They were feeling comfortable. They were feeling rested, right? Because especially at a LAN like this, it is so many hours. You just want to calm down before you get into these games because that's going to be the advantage that they'll have over Aidsens.
Of course. And the winner of this upcoming best of 3 will make it to tomorrow's afternoon grand final. And of course, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room, the elephant in the hole. This is a tournament for points. What type of points, Sheep?
Those juicy little VRS points, which will actually be on there. It's the HLTV Tier 2 LAN tournament, which, surprisingly enough, officially puts us one stage below a major. Yes, it does, according to their rankings. So there we go. Welcome to a now more grandeur Epic LAN HLTV bracket. That's going to be very, very exciting to have a bit of a look. One thing that also deserves to be noted, especially since we finally got the confirmation that it is actually happening, everything's confirmed. Now, Alaska are going to be the only team that are eligible for those points. So they only can lose here, basically, because they've been poised to be the favorites to win.
Of course.
By all of us and everyone in the LAN hall as well, right? There's a good challenge, some grudge matches as well against them, but they've been winning. So, you know, they can't really lose. Do I think that pressure's going to get to them? No. They've looked incredibly calm. The new addition of Tree has been a splendid one.
I got to ask you, Sheep, let's just assume Alaska somehow does get upset. Both today and tomorrow morning, which would mean they would officially end up in 3rd place. Would they get any points, or do you get points only if they win the whole tournament?
They'd only lose points. Because
they would lose points?
Yes, you would lose points. Same on their CCT run. They qualified through the play-ins, which were for VRS points.
Yes.
But then in the main event, they went out 0-3, and they also lost points. So so they gained points from the play-in, but then they lost more points by going 0-3.
Well,
so if the one way they would have played even is when they would have won 2-0 and then went 3-2 down.
I see.
On the CCT main tournament. It is funky as hell. I'm trying to pretend like I know what's going on with those VRS point systems, but I have about 5% of the knowledge now, but that goes for everyone at this point.
But this is the chance for the likes of Aidsens, for the likes of Dusty still in the lower bracket, the likes of Belfast still in the lower bracket, Ice after they defeat to Aidsens, they're still in the tournament in the lower bracket. I think they are the ones facing, I want to say FD. So another 4 teams that, imagine one of them taking one over Alaska, making a name for themselves versus the favorites would be an absolute statement and maybe a continuation. Like I've been saying this entire weekend long, it's still early. The beginning of the 2025 season has just started.
Ironically enough, what would have been the best route for Alaska would have been to lose the upper semifinal and then go through the lower bracket. So they would have 3 wins on a VRS-rated HLTV tournament because now they'll only, at most, only get 2. So if they were really trying to min-max it, it would have been a complete throw on one of the maps, which I'm glad they didn't. There is integrity left in UKCS after all. There is actually way more integrity than there is falsehoods. So shout out. But yeah, shout out to all the good people in UKCS.
Now
that goes for all of you.
The story will have to be about 8 Sins. We talked about Alaska. Everybody knows how good they are. Everybody knows what we can expect from them. Everybody can take a look at the results from the past 2 days. On the other hand, 8 Sins, they've been running through the gauntlet. And yes, they will still have a backup plan if they fall tonight. Well, that means they're going to have to play another game tonight.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. But I don't think they want to do that. I think 8 Sins is here, and I think the answer for them has to be winning map number 1.
Yeah. And in terms of the maps, right, you mentioned that final map of that previous game going 13-11 versus Antarctica. It was, I think, a pretty standard map. I think Ancient was in there as well going to OT, as that's been pretty much in every single best of 3. I hope that we have the veto ready, and I think we will right below us. Let's see, what's below your chin? It says Dust 2 ban, which I'm bummed out about. Below me, it does say Inferno to be picked. Nuke picked by Alaska, so they leave that one in, which is a risky one, as well. I actually have some fun info about that, but we'll get into that when we head into that second map actually, and then we're going to go to Train as a final one. I've already had my happy jumps having Train as a third map, but that would be exciting. 8 Sins do have an opportunity. They were joking around a lot with the guys from Alaska, saying like, yeah, they just steal strats from them and then try to do them better, which rarely works. And especially on Nuke, like it has to happen on Inferno. No other option.
I gotta say, 8 Sins starting CT on Nuke. I don't know, man. They're starting CT on Inferno as well. Alaska preferred to start on the T side, and I believe Alaska is stronger on the T side, but I also think 8 Sins plays better on the CT side. Looking at this veto, of course, Alaska will be the heavy favorites, but I think this veto is the best outcome 8 Sins could have asked for, actually. Maybe with Anubis instead of Train as a decider, but again, if we get to map 3.
Yeah, I do get that 8 Sins ban Ancient very quickly, as Ancient has become the new Vertigo. I think I've already said it on stream once. With UKCS as a whole, always sort of gravitating towards a single map, and now that's been completely towards that one, which has been Ancient. And if you're the best on that map, you're going to be the best in the UK. That has been the case with Vertigo. That's now the case with Ancient as well.
Well, looking at Inferno per se, Alaska on the T side, I gotta ask you, what would you like to see from them? And actually, what would you like to see from 8 Sins to shut down the Glocks?
To shut down those Glocks is going to be mighty, mighty difficult. I just don't want to see that 1-4 setup heading in towards B, which they gladly do not do. It's going to be aggression. You're going to need to take at least some resemblance of map control on this pistol round.
Contact already, Wolfie. Holding the angle, they have someone boosted on site. Gonna fall back. It's WFN, one of the star players of 8 Sins with the dualies.
This is going to be a quick pop. Alaska looking to overwhelm here. Wolfie just stuck on the corner. It's going to be a difficult hold.
Perfect lineup. WFN cannot connect with any of those bullets as Tree opens up the map. You mentioned the newest addition to the Alaska roster, finding the opening.
And at this point, it would be very easy to say bye-bye pistol round for 8 Sins, as this is just not really something you'd like. There's heavy but desperate fire through those smokes. Of course, Alaska are not going to walk into that one. They know better. But a retake gonna be attempted anyways.
They must go for it as Tree finds a second, about to get a third. It's actually Extinct with a double with the Julius and Giraffe to finish things off. Alaska freezing 8sins in their tracks. And I was asking, how can we shut down the Glocks? Well, we can't, because we didn't get a single kill.
That's a difficult one. That is spicy already, the Glock run being that dominant. Right, it's not necessarily that bad losing this round, as on Inferno, especially those Glock pistol rounds, man, they've been so powerful because of those sort of closer range fights, the big wide swings. It's very difficult to make like a proper crossfire work. Now we do see the force buy. Always a fan.
Got an attempt here from Wolf. You're gonna find one as Vacancy and Giraffe use the Mac in Tree.
What?
Full flash! Galil to the head of Dutchy. Muscle memory at its finest as Artist tries to farm some kills down. WFN will find Deagle shot and tries to save a smoke and the armor.
That was a ridiculous shot by 360, full-on dabbing, hitting that 90-degree flick to a headshot angle, because how much more detail do you want to get with your frags? 360, Jamie, I've been an absolute fan of his, especially that K10 run that they had at the Epic LAN. He has that LAN boost, and it just makes you wish Alaska would get into some more close qualifiers, some more physical closed qualifiers, right? Well, the new Major, Austin Major, is going to get near, and they're going to get some good bank points. Going to bank some good points. That's what I wanted to say.
WFN very close to getting Vacancy. Would have been a nice other kill, but not enough. And you were mentioning you were a fan of the buy. Me, not so much.
On Inferno, you can always kind of go for it. Yeah, we had this conversation earlier today, actually, 10 a.m. Jeez, it felt like a whole different day, that morning game.
What a game
I felt
it was.
I felt like saying yesterday, yesterday 10 a.m. But that's way longer ago, even further.
It's because now we're looking at the top 4 sheet. That's why top 3, even both of these teams confirmed on the podium of EPIC44. Extinct!
Jeez,
Doing what the name says, obliterating WFN. Finally, Dutchy gets something after Wolfie falls. Artist eats a couple of bullets from the player. Advanced, Dutchy finds the kill. I like this from 8sins. They're showing that they've got a bit of prowess with the pistols. I would have loved to see this from them on the actual pistol round, but now bringing it down to 2 versus 2.
Yeah, actually pretty decent mid round. Alaska not really attempting to avoid, but still it's going to be difficult. 8sins going for a bit of a gamble here, trying to get into secure positions ahead of Alaska on that B-bomb. So I understand what they're going for, but 360 doesn't have a care in the world, and he's going to take those gunfights. Well, if they were there.
Who would you say is the star player of Alaska?
That is a tough one, but my bet would still go towards Extinct.
That's what I wanted to say. Thank you. Okay, I see. That's what we're a duo shoot. We will think alike. Yeah, I think Extinct is and has historically been both very impressive, which is not the only one to be very impressive, but arguably the most consistent in high-stake games.
Yeah, especially when you head into a higher level in Europe, right? Especially their RMR run. It's always fun to sort of reminisce back to that. They did have quite a decent performance, and all of those, like the most recent tournaments in CCT that they were doing, Extinct was fragging. One thing that kind of I do think, not at all on this level. On this level, he's absolutely one of the best in the UK scene, but heading into playing against 500 in the group stages of CCT, right? You're playing against very strong opponents. You do kind of see Extinct never really being able to sort of life game there, right? Very rarely. He's there, he's fragging, but he's not going to win you that many unique rounds, that many unique moments, and that's always been a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, overall, he's still been performing really, really great. He's a rock in this entire little setup that Alaska have.
A team with plenty of potential.
Oh, but hold on. Look at this bottom middle. Dutchy went way deep. Artist and Giraffe and Extinct dying and killing. Heading into a 3v4, but this is a bit of an awkward mid round here with this, especially this position from Moss, getting one before getting away.
Oh, Prime, very nice. Finding Extinct and Wolfie getting a bit curious. Yeah, let's get mollied off. He will fall off back from the angle.
2 versus 3. Prime and Maz really bringing in some good impact. As Dutchy finishing second at my very first Epic LAN, 39, where Artist now takes down the headshot onto Maz. These 2vx situations are always so dangerous against Alaska. We're going to get them eventually, but seeing Extinct and Giraffe be the final 2 alive in a round, it is the most scary thing that you can have. The amount of times I've seen them 2v4 is ridiculous. Let's see if Extinct Artist can do it.
Artist very much aware. Watching the flank, Vacancy playing as the last resort. Inside, Prime gets the kill. That's a massive victory. I think Wolfie might have spotted Vacancy, but he still loses the duel as Vacancy is making this work finally. With a wallbang from Prime will be the first round on the board, but the finances of 8 Sins will absolutely be disappointing, underwhelming after losing 4 players in the first gun round.
But they are gonna be super glad about Prime's 4K here. First kills on the board in the round, and all of a sudden 8 Sins are winning. Very nice recovery to what could have potentially been a bit of a leak in the defense, heading over towards A long at that point. But yeah, overall that was super well read from 8 Sins. Heavy anti-stratting. I know that is here for a fact, so keep your eyes open for that. Although I have heard from the Belfast Storm guys, anti-stratting against Artist is very, very damn difficult. Let's see if Whiffin with that op.
Artist versus WFN, both, I think well, WFN was blinded, but he does connect with a wallbang shot with the op. Extinct again finds the opener in mid.
Same angle. That's 8 Sins are gonna have to put a cap on that. Losing fights at the same angle, because that's going to hurt you in the long run.
Moz, just like previous round, gets the trade a few seconds later.
This is awkward.
Extinct infiltrating. He's about to catch something by surprise, and he will. Moz just jumps into Extinct's crosshair. But she finds it back. 3 versus 3. The 3 Ts are in mid. Get mollied off.
That's some great awareness from Dutchy, and with Vacancy and Artist low, he could bring in something, but holding him off for 1 minute is going to be near impossible. So this rotate. Not going to be coming in. They're counting on Dutchy.
Good position change.
He's picked up an extra Molotov. If he can get a jiggle in, he can actually delay. He's going to go ahead of the play. Won't continue the spray. 2v2, favorable.
I'm not a big fan of him going for that one.
Are you not?
One and done position there. I think, like you said, maybe using the molly.
He tried to go around again, I think.
An attempt at least he got a kill there, right? 2 versus 2 with the HP advantage, but Artist holding the AWP angle, finds the first kill, will smoke himself off. WFN wants to get the kill, but Artist peeks out and gets the kill.
That was a great shot, and Artist just feeling so damn confident this entire tournament. Belfast Storm mentioned it. Well, I was talking about the anti-fragging. Belfast Storm was talking about it. They were on one. They were feeling it, and what they said, we pretty much know exactly what Artist is going to do, and we still cannot stop it. And that's been the case on Nuke. We won't see Nuke now, and that's a beautiful tag. Unfortunate.
We will see Nuke.
Oh yeah, we will see Nuke. I was so convinced that it would have been banned. It's Ancient that's been banned. Yeah. In terms of map pool, of course, such an advantage for Alaska as well, but that's a given.
More or less an eco here. Moz will fall. He did 5 seconds. Oh my god, Prime
House
is still alive. 1 HP gets the kill. Gets traded right away as we have a 360. Continuing to find a rack up kills with a MAC-10. That's going to be a triple for the SMG.
Such a rat spot for Vacancy, by the way, to be there 1 minute into the round. 1 minute into a half by. You're hiding in the corner on Banana. He's a bit of a cheeky kid, not gonna lie. Vacancy, Mason. He's made the rounds, been through the Sprout Academy roster, of course. Was there together with Slime. Slime, who's now really improved his level as well. In the Whoopa team. That is looking about a little more than a year. It was after 7 AM disbanded. So that was around where Zai moved to K10 and Vacancy moved to Sprout Academy. It was a period of like 4 months or something. They didn't really get any great results, but they also weren't really supported that well.
Yeah, 4 months is not a lot of time.
Some academy teams just throw a couple of young kids together and then just let them just mess around on the server.
Maybe teams should start learning more from Mouse NXT.
Yep.
As we get already another entry on this round. Vacancy this time finding the opener, not the closing one. Prime still playing top short. But there's 4 players going towards Banana, and they've abandoned the B bomb site more or less. It's WFN with the AWP.
Tough start for a couple.
They're going to boost
on,
over.
on 8sins.
Smoking up. The up again. WFN finds
Nice.
Artist and wins the duel for the first time in 7 rounds.
That's good to see. I mean, I'll talk about Whiffin more later on. A nice setup. Punishing that lurk. 360 gets the hell out of there. As they
Suicide jumping off the tree.
Oh no! Oh, he jumped off the balcony.
This is not allowing your opponents to farm stats. He was very low HP on the back of that spray.
Still the
from Prime.
retake can still be survived. Great flashbang.
Extinct!
Oi, 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 that's 2 big ones.
What a spray control, unbelievable. Down to a 2 versus 2. Giraffe is holding the angle. Prime is gonna go for the molly first and still wins the duel. This is very doable. 2 versus 1, and look at that nice flick. WFN with a quick scope, getting Vacancy off, and 8sins win a gun round.
You know what would have stopped that B flank? Having someone on T ramp.
Yeah.
You know, someone who may have been rotating
With a back
away
turn.
from balcony, possibly.
Sometimes gravity is in your opponent's favor.
If a tree falls in an alleyway in Italy and there's no one around to hear it, did the tree really fall?
Apparently the answer is yes,
Apparently
especially
yes.
when you have a kill feed.
Because all of a sudden you're missing 1 tree. Well, it's 8sins on 2 now, and I'm very, very happy to see Whiffin getting some shots with that AWP. He's been working on his mental for the past like 2 years because his game has always been good.
Who?
Whiffin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right, he has really been working on his mental because his name has come there for a reason.
He's one of my favorite players, actually, in the UK scene.
He's so exciting to watch, but he was also very annoying to watch as well because he just get choked up in some games.
So just like you know, we were talking earlier about all-time great British players. So yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, good setup now, at least slightly comfortable, I reckon. It's 8sins that have not gone for a single attempt of extra map control. This is, in my opinion, also slightly too passive.
Yeah.
Because there's never an opportunity to early rotate. They're going to have 3 to 4 smokes, so Alaska are going to have to traverse through gray anyways.
And again, they're falling back. They got full control of Banana. They baited out some utility, and now they're going to rotate to mid. Meanwhile, we have...
Oh, Rotate's going away.
No, just going back to
All right.
Arch. That's good. Holding the angle. It's probably going to get smoked off. There is no smoke available, actually. Just flashes in the molly. This might be very good. Wait, I swear there was no smoke.
Slight indecisiveness. There is that smoke already been thrown.
Bomb is down.
Now he needs to hold on.
Stays alive, jumps away, team shot, but they both managed to take down WFN as Artist
20 seconds.
entry. They're about to overwhelm Wolfie. They're not going to clear the corner. The bomb is down again, but Artist gets the trade right away. 12 seconds. The bomb has not crossed the side. Now they're dropping it over. Dutchy has to stay alive, has to find a kill. He's just rushing. They can't hear it. It's LAN. That's what happens with LAN, but the bomb gets down.
And the peek from Dutchy, it would have been covered. Now they know where he's at, and it's a double swing. Maz on his own.
Finds the
It's
first.
the second! That's another lovely headshot. Clutch is going the way of 8sins. Is exactly what they need to happen early on here.
What a round.
5.
Finally.
Yeah.
I actually think that was that could have been way cleaner from 8sins.
Could have been. Absolutely could have been. But on the other end, Alaska, at the point that they get through, it's a 4 versus 2 cleanly onto the B bomb side. Had Extinct checked that close corner on the left, it would have been
Different story.
round just easily done. So that is actually, I do, because it's clean 4v2 from 2 sides. It's a bit of a tough split to hold on to. They did quite well.
Why would you give me an explanation here, Mr. Analyst?
Mr.
Why would you
Analyst.
use the bomb? Would you send the bomb on that play? If you're gonna go B, why would you have the bomb go through CT instead of Banana?
I'm honestly thinking that's just an oversight.
Well, this is the type of mistakes you got to correct if you want to become one of the established tier 2 teams in the scene.
Yeah, well, it's something that what you can also kind of work with is at some point when you see the bomb, it's what Alexi B did a lot in his early rounds.
That's a Galil, not a AWP.
Brother, that is one solid peek from Artist there. Artist, of course, has that upper brain, so he knows exactly what to look for and how to deal with Whiffen. That was a beautiful setup play. Whiffen kind of digging his own grave there with that nade, giving Artist vision.
I don't even know what we're talking about. As Tree wins the duel with Mark 10. Almost kills Moz as well. This is impossible. Okay, Prime is going to find one back with the
circling him.
But another Galil kill coming in from Vacancy. Player advantage still for Alaska. They have yet to plant the bomb as Giraffe gets on it now.
I don't see this retake happening. We've had some good advantage situation as soon as this bomb is planted, but
Should save this.
you can't. Vacancy's right here.
Well, you should. I'm not saying you're going to succeed. Well, if he gets the kill, now this might be the save. Never mind, they're going for it. They're going to allow Extinct to use the AW. He finds the kill. He's getting burnt a little bit by the molly, but that's going to force Moz to go all the way back. Hey, Sheep, please, let me finish your thoughts about Alexi B.
What Alexi B would do is, for example, on the A bomb set, especially on Mirage, because you can kind of throw flashbangs and peek without fully committing, and he just send most often himself in with the bomb on his back. He used to do this a lot in OG. Just send himself in with the bomb on his back, have 2 players ready waiting in B halls, throw 3 more flashbangs, 2 players continue exiting out of A, he just pisses off, goes back, and then on a timing of like 5 to 10 seconds, they just enter onto the B bomb side. And that would be players rotating, players getting caught off, because the call comes through. It's bomb, it's an execute. So you always have that player rotating. There's always like one guy holding for a lurk, but he's going to get swarmed by 3.
Of course, overwhelmed right
It's like
away.
an advanced, one of the more advanced fakes ever thrown. He probably thought, how intricate can I make just the regular type in chat, go A, and then go B?
So
That's why he's top IGL.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, man. No, yeah, he is actually really good.
We should get Alexi B at Epic LAN.
I think they have enough VRS points.
They got so many VRS points that they're avoiding international lands.
Yeah,
Imagine
Navi sent us a message that they're going to be skipping out on Epic LAN because they want to rest their players. You know, they don't really think Epic LAN is a priority. Together with PGL Cluj-Napoca, of course.
The other way around, they skip PGL to get here.
That would be something. That'd be fun.
Anyway, we got Dutchy here. He's going to throw a perfect grenade. That's going to deal some damage to Giraffe, getting him to 67. But look at the boost on the left side.
Whiffen's close range, but an MP9 and a scout, not really what you want.
He's making
this is good.
Smoke. He's about to find 2 players. The smoke dissipates. He's got 4 players. Guess
my
one. And
God. There could have been so much more. That's such a bummer. What a great play. He got stressed seeing 3 backs turned. If you tap your fire there, that's a triple kill. Oh my God. I think Dutchy is going to have his head in his hands after realizing what he just gave up.
He's definitely going to hate our observer for catching that on camera.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And now Artist, he is going to get to work. He's probably going to find a kill on Whiffen. And now it goes for more as 8sin says, no, we're good. I think this is when you got to call a tactical timeout.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just admit that you do feel kind of lost. I mean, it's a wonderful individual play, but in terms of the timing of those types of setups, right? That's the difference that you see with Alaska very often is when all of a sudden plan changes mid-round, the cohesion that an Alaska team have is so much higher level because Dutchy, in his head, realizes he has a good play. But I don't think Whiffen even had a single piece of util on him, right? It was also a lack of resource. Let's have a look here. Yeah, so Whiffen's not there. The rest of the team is just completely far away. So it is an amazing call, but the rest of the team just simply wasn't in place to deal with this or to help him with this. One flashbang in, if Vacancy is blind, Artist is not going to be turning around for that op frag. Good as he is, he's not going to hit that, and there would have been a double triple kill. But that's just purely the bad luck of a setup not really lending itself to the freedom that Dutchy would have liked there.
I'm all for spray and praying, but I also think running spray and praying was very optimistic. I know it's an MP9.
Yeah, but oh, Prime, that's a risky play. You know how fond Extinct and Giraffe are of that apartment building.
Wolfie is holding his position, and he will get
Bosh.
punished right away. Looking for job vacancies. As now we got Whiffen with the USB trying to find something here. Oh, I've got plenty of these coming for tomorrow's grand final, Sheep. Don't you worry.
Extinct having to go for a bit of a double take there, and just such awareness, right? It's everything is covered. At some points, you're even gonna say like, well, isn't this just simply radaring or walling, because they just check everything so rigorously. And I mean, Wolfie and Dutchy, right? I already mentioned. I think Prime was in that team as well, and then the two Finnish guys. They were with, I can't remember their team name, but they were in the final of my first Epic.
Yes.
Which I already said, EPIC39. Wolfie, I think 1 or 2 Epic lands later, did announce me. Maybe he wasn't fully committed to it, but did announce me he wasn't going to be playing an Epic ever again. And now he's playing top 4 versus...
top 3, please.
Top 3, actually, versus the versus a top 80 team in the world. That's pretty damn fresh. Whiffen, we need him to step up. Again, an opening kill not going right. Wolfie has time to shine.
Oh, what a bounce. You can see the trajectory of the HE right there. Smoke comes in, Wolfie. 13
He's
bullets.
staying close. I
He's
like
gonna go
this.
for it. Gets the headshot. He spots another one, but he's going to get away with his
Lovely.
life. Good play. And now Whiffen has to connect with the first shot. Will not do it, but has a second chance. The Alaska players are falling back down the banana. Final player advantage for 8sins.
Speaking name for the opera there. As we do have Moz still in that bomb site. Moz could absolutely get away with a double here. It's not like I haven't seen him do it before. Prime chiming in to help.
Moz finds it, and now it's going to be 360 in a 1 versus 4. In pit, he's given away his position, but gets the first one in low sands. Now going for the HE, that's going to push out someone, but it's going to be Wolfie on his tail. 4th round on the board.
But this is going to be enough.
You think so?
Is this?
No.
No. Right. It is a test, right? And I think with the way the games have been going, Belfast Storm do have the best matchup thus far versus Alaska. They've been able to put them to a couple of overtimes on that UKIC tournament. They've been able to take a map off them just now, earlier on today. But then the thing is, do Belfast Storm also have it in them to beat all of the other opponents? Because it's... Right, we won't probably see Antarctica playing against Alaska. That fight will probably not happen considering what the lower bracket is looking like. But Belfast Storm will have an incredibly tough game versus Alaska, but they can absolutely make them sweat. Alaska hate playing with a friendly age, right? They're always laughing when they say it, but they hate playing Belfast Storm because it's just their own strats against them. It's like fighting a mirror, like being a puppy fighting a mirror. So that matchup is very exciting to see, but Belfast Storm, can they get there? We will see that in the lower bracket. We will see that in the 9 p.m. game tonight if they get there, but that's going to be a rough run. They're going to have to make miracles happen. Same as 8sins here?
I don't know. I feel like Thor might have something to throw a spanner in the works there.
Oh yeah, jeez, I completely mentioned all of them except for Dusty.
I'm just saying.
Who's also still such a dark horse in this
Thor
tournament.
is still, if you ask me, probably in the running for MVP of the tournament.
Oh, what is this push?
Extinct, chill out. Going with the duelist and gets punished. Thank God. You can't allow anybody to disrespect you like that, and 8sins will not.
No, actually pretty fun strat waiting at the top there, knowing that there's not really a threat of util being thrown at
One
yet.
bait. Vacancy. Trying to distract the player. They're both swinging, and Giraffe finds one as 8sins have control of site. Now, you don't want to take these long range duels, and you definitely don't want to go alone into Artist.
That was ugly. And that looked a bit of a lapse in concentration there for Whiffen.
360, Artist, and he does fall now. It's going to be Dutchy with the final bullet to the side of the head in 8sins. They get the pistols. Brick by brick.
Build this brick by brick. It's good to see. It's good to see Moz, Dutchy, and Wolfie had a bit of a tough start earlier on. Start fragging now. Wolfie especially had a couple of great B holds in that first half. Could be chiming in now, but our main man Whiffen, I'm rooting for him so much. I want him to do so well.
Looking at the way he's played, other than a few missed AWP shots, I thought he might have a way higher score than this, and he needs a scalp bullet to the chest.
That's gonna annoy you. This was the Galil versus Sniper fight that destroyed you in the first half.
He's playing with fire.
He wants to take this. He wants to take some revenge. This is a fun one-on-one fight.
Okay.
Glad we're staying on board with this, but it's gonna be a full stack on Banana, which that Banana will be crushed
Extinct.
like a drunk
Give
gorilla getting his food, and that will be Extinct going down. Artist just on his own.
2 players within scout kill range, maybe 3. I'm not quite sure.
Shall we hype this up to become a 1v5?
It's not happening.
It's not.
It's not happening.
You spoke that into immediate existence.
I'm not a delusional. I'm just saying. But this is not just a random win. That was a full investment from Alaska. Committing all of their.
But it was actually.
Yeah, it was. So now they're gonna have to go.
That looked flat then.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe this T side of Inferno is the secret of both of the squads.
To be fair, in terms of counter-stratting, if you kind of know what the passive rotates are going to be from someone on the CT side, you can absolutely destroy them, right? Because there are some set protocols about what the timing would be to rotate. That's some nice revenge. Getting that wallbang kill.
Oh my god, he's getting stormed behind. Moz turns around and gets a few of them. Prime comes in to double up. Moz was about to get backstabbed as 4 hungry Huskies were trying to get on top of him.
8-7, closing the distance. First gun round. Let's see how this one will shape up. Having a bit of a look at the scoreboard, nothing that we have been too unfamiliar with. Giraffe dropping 5. Shoulder to shoulder with Whiffen. I mean, it's not that it's been necessary yet for Giraffe. If 8sins continue winning round after round after round, we might put a bit of a side-eye to Callum there, but we'll have to wait and see. As lots of more util available, and they're going to be quite conservative with it, Alaska. I would be too, to be fair, but...
Moz, look at this.
Oh, Christ. Mac 10 to challenge.
Moz could punish this. We have seen Artis do some crazy things with the Mac 10 from that position.
Is open.
Yeah, they're just abandoning the side. I don't know if this is
Moz
correct.
with the timing. That is
crosses.
lovely.
He gets in. He gets the kill. I've told you he can do this with the Mac 10, but now Extinct is arrived. Finds the first one. Throws the HE. And the Artist on the tail gets a second. And now clear disadvantage 8sins. They need to get the bomb down, but the molly kill will happen.
That is actually great adjustments from 8sins, because Alaska were in rough positions there to read, but very nice. Good comms there. And pretty clear.
Gets the Galil kill. Vacancy falls. Extinct down to low HP. 25. He will die to 1 bullet. Wolfie holding the angle, spots the head. He's not going to shoot. Giraffe gets in and Extinct gets the kill. 3 HP only, but that should have been a guaranteed kill for Wolfie.
Yeah, it should have been, but I've just mentioned the buff Extinct and Giraffe get when they're the final 2 alive. They just pull out round wins out of a very silly-looking top hat after they pulled out the rabbit. I've casted these guys since my beginning, at least, and it's never changed. I've seen these guys win 3 2v5s on a single map of Nuke.
I think you could even say they pull up the Giraffe at that point.
Yeah, they just keep pulling.
A massive neck, like forever going, like you know how they use.
Because you pull out fluffy ears first, and you think, oh, it's a bunny, and then it's just neck.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Eminex.
Stop, Wolfie. What am I watching? I'm not entirely sure. Can we go back to seeing that? What? Also, this smoke. Very interesting. Players, how did he escape? I'm so confused. What just happened?
That's actually a pretty good read from 8sins, realizing what the push was actually for.
What was it for?
well, for the map control and like trying to get that opening fight, trying to get that opening engagement, but they just didn't give them the fights. That's actually really nice, because then you're low HP on SMGs. You can't be holding top middle now.
And now Extinct, he has done some crazy things. He is alone inside. Gonna play crouched behind the central box. Gets the first headshot, looks for more. He's gonna get Prime very low in HP, but he got way more than he should have.
Such a hefty carry to just deal with all of these trades time and time again. You see how hard 8-Cents need to, like how sharp they need to be. It's very fun to watch, because you're really seeing an Alaska team that are confident in their abilities, know what they can do, know what they will do, and they're saving as well. Yeah, obvious choice. I think they want to. I mean, their economy's in the bin. If you go for it now, you're going to be on another double eco. But yeah, you're seeing a very confident Alaska.
Yeah.
That know how good they are, know they can rely on aim, and have so many set systems that it's just calmness. And then you see 8-Cents on the other end. Like they're on the other end of the arena. We can hear their brains grinding, thinking about how to deal with Alaska in every single one of these rounds. So it is a tough, tough game, even after that. Yeah, we talked about it before, that Antarctica game.
It's so close, though.
Yeah.
9-8. On the map pick of Alaska, 8-Cents are making them work.
Yeah, and what Alaska have done now with the save, right? This was the round that pushed them over towards max loss bonus.
Yep.
So they're going to be good at least for just having to single eco. And they're going to have plenty of weapons this time around. But I do have a feeling 8-Cents are just going to be starting. They just called a bluff on no other aggression coming in.
Oh, that HE might be massive. It's not. What?
Maybe he threw it in a drain or something.
Yeah, it happens.
Just disappeared. Through the map.
Dutchy spearheading this banana control takeover. Gonna go for it. Does a step, smoke's coming in right away. CT vacancy.
There is a Molotov. This is a weird round structure. It's Alaska just calling the bluff on them not pushing through that smoke.
I mean, we have seen it already, a few back-to-back fakes, right? So maybe that is why. They're not calling for a rotation.
This is an interesting round, actually, with pretty much nothing happening.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
With it! Unfortunate timing gets swung out by Artist. There were a couple of other CTs there to help. And now player disadvantage for 8-Cents. I'm not entirely sure what they want to do. Gonna smoke off and try to go to A. Trees alone with the 99 and does fall. Now we have Artist alone in pit. He's gonna have to stay alive. He wants to get a couple of kills to enable the rotations for the teammates. Waiting in the pit, gets the first, looking for more. He does fall. And Extinct. The action continues.
Retake being set up. That was a brilliant call from 8-Cents. That was magic. I'm going to yap about that after this round ends. First, they need to survive the onslaught of Giraffe and Vacancy. Can they hold on?
Invading the site. He's alone behind the pillar. You need some help, but Wolfie is alone. Dutchy finally gets the kill, and now his wide swings. The bomb is not planted for him. He doesn't have any utility. They're 1 versus 1. The bomb
It is planted. It is planted. It is planted well.
Shoulder picking. It's a fake. He's going for it and gets the headshot. Dutchy gets it.
Splitting that 1v2, going Dutch for sure. What a brilliant round by 8-Cents. What a call. Whiffen goes down. Obvious lurk position because 3 players peek. They know it's entirely empty. They know middle is entirely empty. And 8-Cents call out. Right. They probably know we're heading over towards B, and they sprint back and yet only have 2 opponents. Of course, you need to get those opening kills, but they had the luxury of that trade. That was beautiful stuff, and they give themselves that gift of that 2v2. They earned it.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna be
Man,
honest,
that was good.
Alaska should have probably called a timeout for that, but they're gonna keep playing. They have double MP9s and an AWP for Artist.
It's these simple moments, right? But it's making the correct calls. Whiffen, again, feeding Artist some beautiful KD points, as has been happening. Whiffen has had a tough one. He needs to value his life more within the server.
And in general.
Oh yeah, I think he does in general. I hope so. I think he does. Let's not get into that.
Everybody does.
But yeah, we do see an early Molotov. I do value his life. I love him.
It's very kind of you.
Yeah. He's a great guy. He really is. And I want him to do better. Because 6 and 14, I want to see him at the top of the scoreboard in games like this, but he so rarely is.
I want to see him drop a 26 and 14, you know?
Yeah. You know, maybe he's saving it all for Nuke. Maybe he's that trump card. Maybe he's that joker card that you just play and storm through them. It's going to be a tough, tough entry here.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
The ball is coming in from Extinct, but it is a correct choice in the fact that those are the two MP9 players. So you should technically be able to outgun them. Let's see a flash coming across.
This kill needs to be cleaned.
Gets the kill right away, going for more. What a great transfer with the MP9, but Prime and Dutchy are still here to play Vacancy. He needs to fall, and Prime does get it! Headshot wallbang down to a 2 versus 2.
Once more, somehow 8sins are pulling something out of this, and it's going to be the safe call. 8sins have Alaska on the ropes here. I don't see a timeout coming in, but I have a feeling Kieran is not really going to be feeling himself, seeing that this has happened again. This was not necessarily a brilliant call. This was desperation, fueled by the safety net of their economy.
I love to see this. This is what we can expect from EPIC44. This is what we wanted to see in the upper bracket final, and 8sins have come in to play. And what a statement they're making. Look at the money on Dutchy.
He's on 14K on a T-side half versus Ancient, or versus Alaska. That is something that you won't see happening often, if any more, throughout this entire event. And that is such a big bank, because even if you can just sacrifice heading into Galil's, saving you $1,000 in game anyways, they're all so rich, they can take risks here. Meanwhile, Alaska cannot. I think we're going to see a whole bunch of saves coming up here.
I mean, they've already been saving for like 3 rounds now.
8sins have such a safety net. They can take risks. I want to see him do it. We haven't seen a B rush at all yet, by the way. Both halves.
At the same time, why change what has been working for 8sins, right?
Exactly.
Maybe stop sacrificing Whiffen so early, because they won 3, 4 versus 5 rounds, and Artist so patient, so calculated to not overcommit to the flick and just patiently kill Prime.
That's a beautiful shot.
Top fragger for 8sins goes out.
Yeah. So solid. Prime's been getting all of those entry frags, making sure those rounds happen. We're going to have Giraffe fighting with Vacancy, just kind of still waiting around on the bomb site, just cheering on his teammate. You go, Callum. Woohoo. Go get him, man.
He's going to hold the angle. He's got an easy Dutchy. You need to clear the corner!
Well, they won't, and they will not, as we do see some kills coming through now, but with 50 seconds, luxury of rotations, and man up situation. We have a bit of awkwardness going on around the B halls, indeed, but
Moz might be the trump card.
It's Artist. Has he cyclopsed through the entirety of apartments?
No, never mind.
Oh, Artist is right under the skin of Whiffen this entire game. If I don't know what I would do.
I would love to see the head-to-head at the end of the game, to see what, like, how many times have Artist found Whiffen. I think Whiffen has killed Artist once.
It is on HLTV, so we can actually check now.
Shout out to HLTV for getting EPIC44 right there.
We can actually check. I don't know if you can already check ahead of the game, but
during the game, you mean?
That is actually, I don't know, wait, I don't know if we can actually, because maybe it's only for the majors, or like for the really big ones that they do. We're going to have to find out.
We will. We're almost as big as the major.
Yeah, we're tier 2 land, so we probably will have it.
Look at the HE damage already.
That's
taking Wolfie and Whiffen down to half HP. 6 and 15 for what we would like to believe can be the star player of 8sins on the AWP. Hasn't really found the success that we've been wanting to see from him. Now Artist is... Oh, it's entry 360. 2 players in pit. He wants to get the dual. Prime swings from house. Extinct gets the kill. Artist is there as well, and Extinct doubles up. Finds another one. Dutchy with a Mac 10. And now Boss gets the kill long distance. That's an unexpected angle. And now they're going to get the bomb down.
2v2s on A. They've been having success here. Vacancy and Giraffe once more.
Moz. Nice re-smoke. This is going to slow down the takeover of the site.
Molly and a flashbang left for the T side. They must use this.
They're infiltrating through the smoke. Moz is playing backside. He doesn't want to use the nades because he's going to give away his position, but he's running out of bullets and falls to Giraffe. And now Dutchy with the Mac 10 gets shot in the back, gets in the smoke. 14 HP and will get sprayed down. Alaska take the lead yet again for the first time in a few rounds.
Moz getting himself stuck in a corner, stuck with no bullets. That was an awkward situation because that smoke would have allowed him to both reposition and reload. And at that point, with Alaska not barging through that, they might have went on the reload sound. But at that point, you're really looking at a situation where Moz getting kind of stuck there really loses you the round. And we're going to see the first timeout called by Aidsens as their money talked about how good it was looking. Richester Rags goes quite fast in this game.
Absolutely, and now this is a big point. If we force and lose, we're going to have to play for OT with nothing, but we don't have enough to go for full AKs and utility. So what is your call, Sheep?
That's a difficult one. That's what they're deciding now. I think you could gamble on going Tech 9B. That would be a very realistic opportunity. And by the way, their buy is building up. We're going to see some Mag 10s, Tech 9s. So not sure if it will be going towards the B bomb side. It is, of course, a very real possibility here, considering what's been bought. But it looks like it's going to be a bit of a slower start. Aidsens, they're going to need to load up this barrel and make sure it fires straight. Because this bowstring has a hefty pull, right?
There's a boost in mid, but 5 Aidsens players towards Banana. Vacancy. Molly
out of it.
They're already in, but M4A4 spray is on point. Gets 2, and now Giraffe going for the shooting hat-trick gallery to get Alaska 12th, and now 2 map points.
That is sort of falling victim to what kind of feels comfortable entering that B bomb site, which is sticking all the way close to the right side. Vacancy full smoked, has that opportunity to just kind of still stay in that smoke and just hold his crosshair still on those sprays, because as soon as that kind of goes on, I mean, you're not right, you're still in a pretty alright situation there as Vacancy, and you lose so much, you give so much attention away. That was a rough one, and Aidsens losing Steamer at the end of Inferno.
They're going for the boost again. It wasn't spotted last round, and Artist wants to punish them. He's going to see the first one, doesn't get the headshot or the shot by any sort of imagination, so Aidsens will still keep 5 Ts alive.
Slower round. We've seen some good reads, but we've also seen that it's reliant on very good openings and very nicely timed plays. Aidsens, they just don't have that much margin for error.
Flashing in mid. They want to win the duel, and they're going to fall. Prime gets the first one, but Tree comes through, also gets traded. Artist, last A player standing with the AWP, is not going to miss. He will! A rare miss from Artist. Gets mollied off, has to jump off the angle.
He's killed Whiffin so often, he's gained some of his life essence and starts whiffing himself. There's going to be a push here.
Gets the first one.
Prime gets stuffed.
3 versus 3, Aidsens.
They're gonna leave this. They're not gonna go for this, I reckon.
They have enough,
especially not now.
They have enough money, but they're dying as Whiffin finds a kill. On to Artist. It's the second one this game. Giraffe would like to find another T, because that would actually hurt the economy of Aidsens for round 24.
I know the script of this.
What is the script?
It's Aidsens pulling it to overtime and then Whiffin getting 4 aces.
Stay in school, kids. Giraffe gets 1 kill, which is what he wanted.
I haven't had my chocolate milk today yet, so I think that's the problem. 11 to 12. We're joking, but this is like a legit game. I think we're both hoping for an overtime, that's for sure.
I hope you are, because I would love to see it, Sheep, and I think everybody at home would as well. Dutchy will sadly have to go for the MAC-10 since Giraffe got that AK off of their hands, but it's fine. The MAC-10, a weapon as potent as ever.
We've seen Aidsens actually be pretty okay with dealing with having one MAC-10 in their ranks. It was on Maz one of the rounds earlier, and they had the beautiful timing across short. This time, Alaska, they just settle into the most default position possible, having Artist holding down the line.
He was expecting the boost. It's not going to happen. They're going to swing. They're going to get him down. And finally, Wolfie sacrifices himself, but Prime gets the kill. Look at the Molly comes in. They're swinging a bit too early. But they're going to get on the B-bomb side.
That's a rough one, but yeah, B open, 3v3. You'd give them an opportunity.
Molly's coming in. They're pushing. Vacancy's going through. Whiffen misses. And now Vacancy's got the control.
He sees the head, right? He does.
Will start shooting. Will connect eventually. 2 versus 2 again.
Dutchy. He needs some
It's
help.
a minute left.
He's fully blinded. They could fall back. Look, 360 is thinking about it. He's looking for a potential lurk in A. They're slowing down. They're putting on the brakes. Now they have the chance to play 2 versus 1. Obviously, Extinct will wait for his teammate if the bomb gets down.
Yeah, but the longer Aidsens wait, ooh, Maz is going to get curious.
Is it going to be the perfect timing for Moz? No, Extinct is aware. No, he doesn't have the timing, and Moz gets it. 8 with the biggest chance they've had. 2 versus 1 for the overtime. 360 has had a great first half, but has been rather quiet.
They fake plant, trying to bait him out if he was close. Util available, Kit as well. Perfect opportunity here.
They're playing together. 8 is aware this is not going to be one of their sins. They're not going to make a mistake. They're not going to allow 360 to win this. He does get the first kill, and he's going to fall as Dutchy gets it into the overtime.
That was loud from the Aidsens. They are cheering. They make it to OT versus Alaska here on Inferno.
On their map pick.
On their own map pick, yes. I mean, it's your own map pick. You should be able to win, but they are managing to get this through, right? It's a tough one. Ahead of Nuke. Nuke is waiting for you. You know what can be risky. You know what can be dicey on that Nuke map. You know you have to do it right here, right now. We're going to get infinite rounds as long as we can go. There's some records that might never be broken, but
4 aces in a row in OT from Whiffen would be a hell of a record.
To be fair, the T-side op in overtime can bring in massive amounts of impacts that you never see in regulation. So keep your eyes on Whiffen. I'm really counting on him, and Aidsens are counting on him as well.
This is the shot. He has found most success in mid. A couple of times he was in Banana, hasn't really connected with the shots. Luckily for him, Giraffe is there to support and will get Wolfie down to 35.
One thing I'm bummed out about is very little util commitment overall from Aidsens on this B-bomb side. Giraffe and Artist have been playing pretty much the same positions for the entire defense. You know the nade lineups. You can just stand in a conga line with 3 nades out and completely wreck one of them. But I don't know why they don't go for it. Maybe you're scared for a push, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But that's such an opportunity that they just are letting go by the wayside. They know where they're at.
Well, if we're going to see this as a rematch tomorrow on Inferno during the grand finals, maybe they're going to look at the tape and learn from it, but still plenty of time to go, as this is such a Giraffe with the 6th sense swinging, catching Wolfie off guard, and now Moz tries to find something himself.
Alaska are kind of wondering where Aidsens are staying. This is an insane flank from Giraffe. He just teleported further up, and he's going to flank too. This is a devastating round.
It's done. Flawless first round in OT for Alaska, as Giraffe actually MVP of that round for me.
That's a pretty ridiculous one, and
you can't rest on your laurels. That's the problem. You managed to win so many rounds. You managed to come back to take it to OT. You can't rest on your laurels. You got to keep pressing on the gas pedal and keep going. It's fine you lost the first round. Now you got to get it back, and you got to get those entries. You got to use that utility like you said.
I'm trying to put myself into the shoes of the coach of Aidsens. Like, what what could you give as a call? I just want to see more simplicity, more staying together with all five. Yeah, you've been mowed down a lot, but Prime and Moz have been super sharp on all of those trades. Make sure they go in second and third.
There it is.
There you go. Moz with 2 holding off that push.
And this is simple. You got to pause it. You've got 90 seconds. You do not need to rush this. The call should be we play it as a team, we trade for each other, and the number advantage will be forever in our favor this round. They went for the nade play.
They went for the nade play. Would have loved to see it early round when there would actually still be someone there.
Yeah, in either of the previous 13 rounds. Yeah.
Maybe. Like, okay, it's OT already, so it's not going to matter much. But if you do that often enough, they're not going to be sitting there at all.
Wolfie punishes Artist,
Bosh.
swapping places with Whiffen, who has been the one being the casualty. Vacancy gets the first 2 and the third.
Jesus.
This is unbelievable. Vacancy almost full HP. Sama still standing on the A-bomb side, gets the 4th. He is unstoppable. Dachi needs to shut him down before he gets flanked by Giraffe. Dachi, you need to get the skill, but it's too late. Giraffe has arrived. 1 versus 2. He's in pit. Look at it. USB in hand. Spots the head. Dachi gets the headshot. But Giraffe just has to be patient and wait.
Dachi, this is a very awkward one. You know he's going to be close. You know he's going to be somewhere here. Maybe he chimed in a bit of a footstep. He's going to go for an awkward angle.
He's got it.
Spot the shoulder through the gap. No, he can't.
He didn't see it. Dachi is not aware. He's running. He's running. He gets the headshot. And 8sins win on the back of a Dachi clutch. But Vacancy, he did so much that round.
Vacancy on his own, full 360 turret there, getting every single headshot kill coming through on the A-bomb side. Giraffe needing to win a 1v1, and I'm sure Vacancy at least gave him a bit of a look there on that long table, to because they're both on opposite ends as well of that team setup. Pretty sure those eyes burned a bit through the side of the skull from Giraffe. But somehow, just stepping up to that ledge, 1 bullet not hitting the body, hitting the leg, making sure Dachi survives is mental.
Ooh, I love the white pick, though. Just punishing it up, 360, and he's got to swing in mid. Only finds one as Wolfie and Prime are there. Artist gets surprised by Moz coming in with a perfect approach from House. Gets on site, 2-player advantage, and it's the same story as last round. You got to play the numbers game, and you got to stop Vacancy and Giraffe from clutching these.
8sins came to play on Inferno. This is looking great. They're going to be up 1 round heading into the second half of overtime. Well, I'm saying that it is Giraffe and Vacancy, but the time's halfway. I don't really see this happening.
Flash in. They still have another HE and a flash, a double HE actually available. Going to come in short, going to land on top of them, but Giraffe finds the first one. Whiffen almost getting his stand on the board. Vacancy's going for the defuse. He's got it halfway down. They need to spray him down. He's got it! He has fallen!
No!
Unbelievable! Whiffen gets the 10th kill to get it over the finish line with a nanosecond to go. And this game has everything, ladies and gentlemen, as we are going for the second half of the first OT, and 8sins is in the lead.
Oh, I'm not even going to be kidding. I was ready to burst into tears if that defuse had come through. That would have been the most ridiculous ninja defuse, I think. That would have not been a ninja defuse. That would have been just like, the smoke might as well not have been there. And he just sticks it. Oh, what a ridiculous one. But 8sins, they do carry over this lead.
Flash, smoke, Molly, they're pushing Banana, they're taking control, they want to go for it, but Vacancy punishes, Vacancy's aware, Vacancy gets them out!
Well, very quickly dealt with, and there's the hail of nades. As Alaska are showing how to use them. Prime has about airplane vision there, just seeing the top of the clouds. It's going to be Whiffen on his own on this bomb site. Could get a multi-kill from this position if you can fall back, but it's just been missed shots so often. He can connect with one. If he stays alive, a retake might be on.
Just a second.
That is great. No third.
Still very good, at least made it a slightly more believable for Moz and Prime, the 2 top fraggers for the side of 8sins.
Full util. Especially with Pit. Pit can be smoked off. There's still a bit of a dicey position here. Giraffe would have the lineup.
I'm not entirely sure what the original play at the beginning of the round was, why go so aggressive and deep on Banana. Obviously, it was punished beautifully by Vacancy, who has hit 25 kills already. They are just going to try to sandwich in Alaska, maybe force them to lose the AKs. They want to replicate, I guess, the late defuse. But it will not happen as
you know that doesn't really work in overtime because they don't care if you die to the bomb. So it's not really an effective way of playing a retake there late into that round. 14-14.
I have a high feeling that this could go two ways, and I think if Alaska wins this round, we might be seeing their map go in their way. There's no AWP for them though, and there is one for Wiffen, who has started to slowly come alive.
There you go.
Nade combo punishing.
There you go. 8sins finally getting the nade memo. They should have had way more util damage already, but better late than never. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say they got with that right on time. Early advantage.
Maybe we can take a look at the utility damage on the scoreboard during the next freeze time, as now Wiffen will spot where that volley is flying from Extinct. If he gives him an angle, oh, look at him there, so close.
That's a flash, but that's a good support molly coming in from short, making sure Wiffen can't get pushed at least. I think clip the wall there actually. Same thing.
Gets him down anyway in HP. So that was not a whiff.
And we're going to still have this 50-second round left.
Heading towards A. It's because Giraffe has already infiltrated. It's going to be, it's actually Extinct rather. Extinct versus Prime. This could be all.
Prime is very vulnerable to flashbang here. Extinct, ready to trade frag.
He's getting too curious. Wiffen has to fall back. He's going to go all the way back on top box inside side. It's Moss finding the first one. Artist gets the kill onto Prime. Wiffen gets smoked off inside. The AWP scope can be heard. The shot misses, and now he's going to get overwhelmed as Giraffe goes up.
No HP though. That's bomb dropped. That's bomb dropped in the middle of the bomb set.
15 seconds. Wolfie gets the kill!
That's Artist on his own, 1 versus 2.
10 seconds.
There's nothing you can do here. There's an 8 thrown in deep.
He's going to plant it.
There's a molly. Molly won't connect yet.
Artist stays alive. He's going to find the angle again. 2 versus 1, jumps in. He's isolated on site on an island. Gets the first headshot, and Dutchy puts an end to that attempt. Artist with 35 HP almost made it happen, as 8sins are the team with yet another map point.
God, this is such a tight game. I mean, the margins are nowhere. There's nothing in between this. I mean, just those whiffed shots coming in. What pretty similar to what Alaska have been doing to them on Alaska's CT side, where we're looking at it and seeing all of these quick like pushes as soon as, or right around when that bomb gets planted. All of a sudden have that B push, have that mid push. A lot of pressure on them, and it's a good recovery. It's another map point here for 8sins. Well, it's the first map point for 8sins, actually. They carried it to OT. They have their first chance at making it into Nuke with that win in their pocket. Nice team damage again.
With it. He's going to try to go for a smoke shot. It's actually Prime getting the first one. He needs to stand his ground. He needs to not fall. He's going to spray and pray and get a lot of damage dealt to Giraffe. But before he dies, Wiffen out of library.
What is this?
I'm not sure, but the 5-7 would get the job done, as Giraffe is very low in HP, and again, player advantage for 8sins.
Pure smoke fight on long that took around 20 seconds of our life away. Somehow, 4 versus 3 advantage for 8sins there.
Dutchy spots one. He's not alone. It's going to be the double up. Wolfie swings. Artist goes down. 2-player deficit. And Vacancy says, I'm still here to play. Gonna get the kill onto the AWP player, but there's one more in pit. Moss has to stay alive. He could get punished. Heard it, but it doesn't matter. 360 gets the kill.
Alaska 2v4s. They're always painful. Let's see if 8sins can be blessed here.
Give them some time. The tension is ensuing. Can they find it? Wolfie is going to be the spearhead, gets instantly taken out by 360, and now Dutchy in a crossfire between 2 opponents. You need to get on it, son. You need to do it now.
Time is such a pure crossfire.
Unbelievable angles. Dutchy, this feels impossible. Wide swings, gets shot in the back of the head, and it's going to be the second round of OT. 15-all. I feel like we're back on CSGO.
You know what I'm starting to be slightly baffled about? We're hearing Alaska. We're actually hearing them.
All the way to
which
the different continents.
which doesn't really happen that often, especially not with teams always doused as the favorites, right? We've seen the neighbors just be stone cold, just do nothing, right? They're there, but now I know who's being loud. I know damn well who's being loud. It's that little new addition called Jamie360. He's going to be yelling. He's going to be bringing that energy to Alaska. That is enjoyable. I have a feeling there's a decently big crowd right now at the PC, so I wouldn't be surprised.
No matter what happens, 8 Sins are pulling their weight on Alaska's map pick. And
No, it's his map pick. Isn't it not?
I don't think it is. Because 8 Sins won Nuke, so I assume they would pick Nuke, right?
Oh, no, because 8 Sins are in CT side now.
Fair enough, fair
You
enough.
wouldn't pick Nuke against Alaska. That was my assumption. So
Valid. 360 gets one, traded by Whiffin. 14 kill on the board for the AWP player. Artist will find Wolfie. Still advantage for the T's as Extinct infiltrates, wants to win the duel. Prime quite low in HP and Extinct starts running. Running shoes on Dutchy, 1 versus 3 in Banana. He needs to pull a miracle. He's gonna play the angle, jump on top of him, gets the first kill, and Artist swings with the AWP and gets him back.
very quick trade, and Extinct, such awareness as to know exactly what was happening in that round. Heading into it, Whiffin will be blown up. Dolphin dive into the bin there. Alaska on 16. Hurt on everyone, but maybe just missing that slight bit of chip damage, slight bit of extra pain on them. 16th. Getting a good streak here could be very, very dangerous. I mean, we're looking at the first team to win 2 CT-sided rounds, 2 or more CT-sided rounds, where all of a sudden you're going to get a realistic chance at closing out this game. I'm very much enjoying this, by the way. Just putting that out there. This is a great game. This is an amazing game.
Hope all the viewers at home and in the arena love it as much as we do. The players must be feeling some sort of special way as look at the double HG combo. Both Artist and Extinct down to 43, and now there's still a few mollies needed. 4 players in Banana with 360, the only one lurking up in alleyway.
Get the nade set up. Oh, piece of their own medicine.
Dutchy stays alive, at least.
Picks up another nade for himself. This is just going to be a dodgeball tournament here on Banana.
He's waiting. He has to be patient. A perfectly placed nade could take out either Artist, Extinct, or both.
This is sort of a result of the rounds that we've already had, where both teams are now kind of not really wanting to attempt anything anymore, at least for this one.
50 seconds on the clock.
We do see Moz getting curious.
He might get caught by 360, but no, the timing is not in their favor. And Whiffin will spot 360. He's gonna not connect to that shot, and at the same time, they get taking over B. Dutchy, Somali, they're gonna have to push through it. Vacancy is going in and gets the headshot. Prime, Wolfie, what are we watching? Vacancy just turns around and gets the spray down kill.
Apparently, Wolves don't have driver's licenses, asleep at the wheel. Not there at all. 3 versus 3 in the retake. Somehow Prime does trade with Vacancy, but the possibility is very far to reach.
This would be a very
Exposing himself again. You can get a Molotov over that, no problem. You don't need to show yourself.
Whiffin. 1, 2, 3, finds the first one. Artist is low HP. He could pull out the pistol, but it's gonna be Artist again who has his number. 17 for Alaska, and now 8 Sins. Let's see what they're going to be doing. Whiffin doesn't look too hot for money. He will have to play with an MP9 in OT.
Ugh. That's not something that you want everyone from Alaska above 20 kills. Vacancy is nearing that 30 bomb together with Artist as well. Artist has gotten 26 kills. Whiffin has 26 deaths. And I think that's been only them two fighting.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
26 deaths is diabolical, by the way.
32 rounds.
That's some hard commitment. I'm going to twist it to a positive. That's hard commitment to the play.
Yeah. 8 Sins. If they can't win a single CT round, I think it would be the end of this map. I don't see them winning 3 back-to-back T rounds.
It's always a tough one when you lose all 3 on that OT.
Hasn't happened yet, but look at the lineups. The HE's taking Whitman out. Now
Flash
Wolfie,
is great.
good double kill. He's gonna find out there's nobody else on B, and now the rotations will commence. 3 players for the CTs on A.
Wolfie getting some revenge for himself. Short now being attacked. Actually, that MP9 actually becoming effective.
Prime is very much aware and gets the kill onto Extinct. 360 finds the first. Playing it slowly. Doesn't have the bomb, but has someone on his tail as Moss gets the A4 spray down. And they only get one on CT. Is this gonna be sufficient, Sheep?
Oh, it's going to be very, very big, or a very big task ahead of him. I mean, do you really see 8sins winning 3 rounds in a row? I mean, they've had a very good T-side streak, but it's going to be full buys consistently for the Alaska team. You won't get that luxury anymore of having to deal with 5-7s for a couple times or having to deal with saves. They are going to go for every single retake, 2v whatever. Even if you add a 6th man and there's still 2 players left in Alaska, you bet your ass they're going to go for it. But this is something. I mean, it might end here for 8sins, at least for this map. And then you got the prospect of facing Alaska on Nuke of all maps.
That HE might land on top of Wolfie. 46 HP. AWP for Artist, who is also at 26 kills. Vacancy 1 away from breaking 30.
See these slower T-side rounds being approached now. It was the successful recipe, grandma's cookies, you can say, for 8sins on this T-side. Slight delay on the Molotovs. 2 already used. That's a pretty big commitment at 1 minute left, don't you think?
I believe so, but 8sins will be more than happy to force them out so early, as they're not entirely sure what they want to do. We can see that bomb on the radar still dropped in middle.
That's not really going to touch anyone, and next thing's going to have to change his lineup. It's Whiffen beating a one-on-one Abdul with Artist somehow, some way. Alternate reality, we have entered you.
It's a multiverse of Epic Land.
That's going to be a great short story, actually. Well,
coming in, 360 on the edge, spray down, gets one, but Prime kills his teammate, and now 360 flashed and destroyed as Prime has been the prime player for 8sins, 28 kills right there with Vacancy, but Vacancy has been the hungrier of the two. Now they're going for the boost. Giraffe with the A1 on top of it.
I just feel so scared every time I'm legit quaking in my boots. I can't imagine ever playing against 2 of these players left. Giraffe, look at that. They do deal with it eventually. And it's 17-17. The magic number is 1-9.
For now.
For now.
Round 35.
1-9. I meant like overtime 19.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. We'll be here until March.
We'd be... They won't have to deal with us. They would probably have to deal with Tyler and Shin.
With our children.
doing the game after us if this would go to 19 overtimes.
Round 35 has begun. We got 4 players close towards Rampant Banana. Giraffe has to fall back right away. Wolfie didn't spot anybody. Look at that HE. That's going to land on top of Moz. Eating the damage.
Pottery breaking with that, together with the skull of Moz. That shrapnel hitting pretty much everything close to it. And once more, 8sins. I like that. They are sticking with this sort of slower play, but they're so reliant on Prime in these side takes, which, I mean, it's fine. If that's the way that you need to win,
just do it.
Then that's going to be your only goal, right? Doesn't matter how. It's that you get that W. Artist baited out at least.
The Incendiaries have been doing a lot of work the last few rounds of OT for the CT players. 50 seconds to go.
Moz needs to act on the timing here. He can't be going out first, but then you're either facing into Extinct, who can fall back, or facing into the AWP. This is not a great situation for 8sins.
We're actually watching Wolfie across the map trying to activate on the top side, but Prime with a wide shot takes Extinct out and whiffing a second back-to-back duel versus Artist. 360 is alone inside. Will find the first and the second. He is so composed, but he gets shot in the back of the head. Moth, you need to win this duel. You need to stop 360. He finds another headshot. Vacancy has arrived. 1 versus 2. Vacancy has done some incredible things. 15 seconds. You need your teammate. Where are you? Vacancy almost wins, but Wolfie says no, and we get another map point.
My heart rate is going through roofs. That's for certain. You know how high the ceiling is here. Jesus. Oh my goodness. 18 to 17. One of the more unlikely scenarios, now a possibility to unfold right in front of our eyes. Yes, Artist has the opportunity to go for that up, but it's the same situation that we saw on 8sin, on 8sins. Exactly the same mirror image. But can that glass be shattered? Can 8sins break that mold and get that map win over Alaska?
Nice learning from Moz. Artificial intelligence.
Again?
Whiffen
How?
does it. 3 OT rounds on the T side, and Whiffen has finally started to play. We thought he might be done and out, but he has Artist number now.
I'm telling you, T side impact, that op on overtime T side, that is insane. Moz, he's had success with this before. The timing is magical.
Does he expect a second? It's such a hard angle to expect, and Vacancy swings, gets the kill, but down to half HP.
And info.
Wolfie.
8sins, they've had so much success here.
They're going to Extinct. He has been punished last round, but it's not that easy to do it back-to-back. He has been a shining diamond. Vacancy playing in the corner. He's going to get the first one. He's going to go for more. He's finally getting shot down. Extinct on top of the box. Gets destroyed by Dutchie.
This is legit it. Oh my goodness, 8sins. They will, after one of the roughest grinds on an Inferno we've seen, I think, for sure today. Man, oh man, Giraffe gonna be in a 1 versus 3. He's been good. He's been great. But he's not this good. From all players, Whiffen being the one to be crucial in that win in overtime. The T-side overtime op, I'm telling you, I told you, that T-side overtime op, all of a sudden, it becomes such, like, it gains magical powers.
I believe Whiffen got 12 out of his 20 kills in overtime.
Yes, he legit did.
It's
not quite 5 aces or 4 aces, but it is an absolutely necessary step. Without that, they're not winning.
Absolutely not. Like, this is one of the early kills we saw him get. I believe he was 4 and 16 at some point, or something along those lines, but he took his sweet time. He took his sweet time to wake up and play, and now Alaska 1 map up. Yes,
Alaska.
One map down. Yes, it was 8sins map pick, but what a way, what a statement to prove that you can take it to the deep waters and still win.
And the comeback as well, right? That first half, we were talking about this game. I mean, I think we both kind of forgot that it was an 8-4 scoreline at one point.
Yeah.
Heading into that second pistol. That T-side pistol going the way of 8sins, getting a great start. But then again, Alaska had 2 map points in regulation.
It was so one-sided. I thought it was Alaska's map pick. That's what I thought. That's how good they were playing at first. Incredible as we see some of the replay all from that marathon. And this is when we're going to have to start talking sheep. When is the amount of rounds played throughout the day going to get to 8sins? Because this is what, their third, fourth overtime today?
Yeah, I've actually do kind of have a feeling, knowing the passion that these lot have for Counter-Strike, I have a feeling Dutchie's going to be one of the players most annoyed by it being such a long day already. But especially the younger guys in this team, if you look at a Whiffen, Moz, being able to play versus Alaska, being able to take a map away from them, and right, for Nuke, we'll get into that in a bit once we're after the break, because there's not a lot of talking to do about that. But after that, you go to Train, which is a pretty unknown one. Although, I say that, Alaska have been good on it. There are opportunities opening up, because Train still not figured out quite yet. And especially what we saw, as soon as you get a decent T-side.
I want to see, can Whiffen carry on the momentum he gathered in the OT? But we are going to allow the players to get some rest. We're going to send it to a break, and we will return with Map 2 from the upper bracket final.
Take back control. Nothing to obey, we're tearing down the old way. Can't they see our souls are one? Path to the sun has begun. Don't ever be afraid, forever our fates are made. Everywhere there's Saturdays, we have future here to stay. I'm peeling back the skin from the person I've been. Don't wanna be tied down, can you see the light? Throw your face to the stars, far away with no scars. It's written in my cards, this is my reality. This is my reality. This is my reality. I feel like the skin, I'm not the person I've been. We're heavy hitters, we deliver, yeah.
Never stop gaming. They hate when you elevate. You're stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate.
Take back control. Nothing to obey. We're tearing down our own way. Can't they see our souls are one? Path to the sun has begun. Don't ever be afraid. Forever our fates are made. Everywhere there's Saturdays, we have future here to stay. I'm peeling back the skin from the person I've been. Don't wanna be tied down, can you see the light? Throw your face to the stars, far away with no scars. It's written in the cards, this is my reality. This is my reality. This is my reality. I feel like the skin, I'm not the person I've been. We're heavy hitters, we deliver, yeah.
Never stop gaming.
Hello, Overclockers.
Welcome back to the Counter-Strike Upper Bracket Final, powered by Intel. It's Map 2 between Alaska and 8sins, and we are bringing you Map 2, which is going to be Nuke.
It is going to be Nuke. Map pick of Alaska going to be coming in. One of their better maps. We have now, with the most recent great result from Alaska, beating Aurora in the 60 play-ins. The two maps they did win was both Nuke and Train. So 8sins
Love the format.
have to improve on the performances that Aurora had versus this Alaska team, which is going to go pretty crazy. But it is an epic LAN, and we might see something happen. I have heard Dutchy's been cooking something up.
I gotta say, 8sins have also just come in off of a very big victory for themselves, maybe not as big as the Alaska one. Just to qualify to the upper bracket, they have won 13-11 on Nuke versus Ice. So they've recently played a map as recent as a couple of hours ago, so they should still have what it takes to at least make it entertaining.
Yeah, they're going to be in that Nuke mode. They're going to still have some radiation on their backpacks, so that's going to be looking great for them as entering back into it. It is going to be tough. You do have the luxury of starting CT side, but we've heard from the previous opponents of Alaska, from Belfast Storm, how difficult it really is. Because Belfast Storm, they do work, right? Freddie, as a coach, he's done a lot of work, and I've heard a lot of praises sung by the Belfast Storm team, how well they know how their opponents are going to play.
Okay.
Even then, it was still a pretty dominant scoreline from Alaska. This is one of their home grounds. It has always been, back when they were at Pirio, back at Verdun, it has always been comfort on Nuke.
Well, game 2 is underway as we are hopping in to see if the history will repeat itself and Alaska can take us to the deciding train of map 3, but we're gonna have to start with the pistols.
If this becomes a 2-0, that would be one massive upset for sure. Two players jumping into the vent. That's awkward. Wolfie's holding on. That new keyboard doing wonders for him.
Giraffe with a trade, Vacancy coming in hot, and Nachi now has two players in front of him. He needs to connect with some bullets. His Vacancy finds 3. He's about to go for the 4th. Prime is running out of bullets. He's trying to go out 1 versus 3, and this one should be a fairly easy hold for Alaska.
That's a big bummer for 8sins. Oh my word, it's so many missed shots out of Prime and Dutchy having some struggle to get fired up heading into map number 2. That would have been a great pistol round win to start with. And now you're Prime all alone in 1v3.
Giraffe gets the final headshot. 2 on the board for him, and this was a round that could have, if we replay this round 27 times, it could go very differently if you connect some random bullets to the head, but sadly
specific
you got 1
number.
Thank you.
It probably would have been a in the regular if you just hit your shots there. That's a bummer because we did see quite high level CS in terms of strat calling and in terms of reacting from 8sins, and now you're going to lose a round simply on whiffing shots. That's not going to set a great tone to the rest of the game, but I reckon that the mood is still going to be quite intact with this A-bomb side take.
A couple of kills going in the favor of the CTs. Wolfie coming on their tail. 1 versus 2. Extinct. A couple of bullets away from dying. So there is a chance for Wolfie. He's going to take advantage of it. The bomb does not go down just yet. Mac 10 versus MP9.
Beautiful battle. Battle of the ages in second rounds. Hefty force buy. And a big result may be coming in. Vacancy trying to completely outplay Wolfie, not wanting to let it go down to the clean gunfight. But Mason has escaped into the ramp.
Wolfie.
Oh, beautiful fake.
Is he going to bite? He will.
Yep. No, he's hearing these steps.
Wolfie
but
has
Wolfie also has been jumping and running.
1 versus 1. High ground advantage. They're not going to spot each other just yet. And a nice headshot.
Straight to the brain. Wolfie. Oh, man, just not really knowing what to do with that information. I don't know if he hurt them, actually. I mean, the music's quite loud. If those footsteps did get missed, that's a very logical result to that round. But there must have been, that ladder must have been heard, right?
Maybe they're next to a team that's also very loud.
That would have been an unfortunate timing. Welcome to LAN powered by Intel. You're gonna get noise. You're gonna get a lot of noise.
Not the white type of noise.
No.
Prime gets 1. He's somehow dodging the bullets like Neo. And that you get a lot of damage onto Extinct as well as the entry on Vacancy. Of course, Vacancy, the top scorer of map number 1.
It's a pretty supersized menu here for 8sins, considering what normally would be a third round buy in a situation like this. They got SMGs and Eagles and 5.7s. This is looking pretty all right. But yeah, indeed, we did see the fire chasing down Whiffen.
I actually think that was a missed molly. I really think that was meant to go for main, but it just dropped the vents, and that's why it wasn't expected. Dutchy alone will not find anything outside.
That outside fight is probably going to dictate a lot of this game. And the thing is, 8sins, they don't really need to fight outside, right? It is becoming slowly, at least I'm a very big fan of teams who do it, where you just completely ignore the outside, play 3A to ramp, and then just make sure you can be decently quick enough with rotates down. Of course, you're going to have that danger that if they go for a side take... What? How? Come on, bro.
Oh,
what the flip is going on?
Yeah, we're talking about a future, but Prime... Extinct gets the final 2 Galil shots as the ladder. Your arch nemesis Sheep throws a spanner in the works for that 2v2 for 8sins.
How many people were watching now that were watching the 10 a.m. game getting that joke? I don't think many, as we do have a bit of time to breathe with the technical pause. But yeah, what I was saying about that outside play, right? It is possible because it's such a dominant position. It's odd that you can kind of ignore it and still recover. The one threat that does happen is that at some point you're going to be potentially falling victim to an A-side take coming from both Heaven, Main, and Lobby, which then would completely annihilate an A-bomb side any day of the week.
Yep.
So that is the only real threat. There are ways to cover for that, for example, with a secret push then, because that is still possible with the 3-2 setup that I just mentioned. It is something that I don't see teams do that often. I always like when it happens. I don't know, I just like that strat. Because it negates so much early round risk, right?
Absolutely. No, you're correct 100% here.
So maybe we'll see it. I doubt it. But who knows? I hope we can see it.
Well, what we see for now is the with an AWP get punished instantly by Giraffe with a white swing with the AK-47, and we're going back to the status quo.
That's exactly that early round risk that I'm talking about, right? Whiffin has not been having fun in those early rounds. And now, like, this is pretty much the setup I was talking about, where you're doing it with one man down, right? If you have an op to support Dutchy here, that would be so much more powerful. I just get bummed out about rounds like this, where 8sins obviously just are already 2 steps behind after 10 seconds that the round's on.
Yeah. It's Vacancy might have spotted the barrel, but he's going to be patient. Prime's going to walk into his crosshair. Spot each other. Nice. M4A4 adjustment.
I don't know how he's been winning these fights. Prime is having a very good day.
Prime has been very impressive. Sadly for him, he loses Wolfie. Moz will get one. Still player disadvantage for the CTs.
Having a lobby push this early on is a good threat. At least for later into this half.
Again, switching sides of the map. It feels like Moz is a T trying to get on the bomb site, and he's not going to clear the wide angle. He does have a flash, though. That's going to come very handy. Sadly for him, Artist was playing close, not deep. He's going to find an easy kill. And now we're most likely looking at an M4A4 save from Prime.
Yeah, we're looking at also the 4 rounds. Well, it's going to be 5, with the next round coming up being a half buy. It's gonna be 5 for Alaska most likely, unless something funky happens. But then we'll receive that with enjoyment, I reckon. If we see some of these pistols get through and get a round win. This is what playing Nuke against Alaska does feel like, and that's what I'm struggling with, right? It's you need to keep Whiffin safe. You need to make sure he can get more than one fight in a round, because he is at risk of, whiffing a shot. Of course that risk is there, but he's been getting destroyed so often.
Yeah, they've had his number constantly, but now they're trying a bit of an aggressive play with this, well, partial investment, I suppose. MP9, some Kevlar.
Extinct did apparently turn around in time. Yeah, he forced Dutchy back. Fight at the P-bombs are now happening. If this rotate is on time, with that P250 doing massive work.
Good kill. Moz will also find one with the 5-7 before falling, and look at Wolfie. Infiltrating, it doesn't matter. 360, nice headshot, but Prime gets the bomb down. Vacancy finds the kill. Now Prime's isolating the side. He needs to find the angle onto Extinct before he's getting overwhelmed, but he will get taken out as Alaska.
Such a good play.
Open up the map with 5 rounds on the T side of Nuke. If they stop here, it would still be more than enough.
That was so good. I mean, Extinct, right? You can clearly see at some point, was it Moz or Prime? I think it was Prime on the bomb site right at the end. You can clearly see he's realizing what the hell's going on with it happening. Like, okay, Extinct's clearly baiting me for Vacancy, but at that point, you know it's a lost battle.
Absolutely. And we're going to get another offer with an Extinct. Holding that.
There you go.
Gets the kill onto 360. No op for Alaska to trade it as Whiffin finds the second. Very good.
Yeah, Giraffe traded. That's nice to see, but then very little coverage for Vacancy to come through. Still 1 man up.
Very fast round from Alaska. This time they do get punished a little bit, but are you aware of how far Artist has made it into Secret?
At this point, you must consider everything, right? And that's what makes Nuke so difficult in these mid rounds for the CTs, because they're going to be clearing everything, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're already there. Look at this position from Extinct, by the way. If Dutchy doesn't win this fight, this round's over.
And Extinct finds another kill actually onto Moz. Artist now alone. 1 versus 2. You gotta be patient, Dutchy. You can't give him a chance to headshot you first. Going together, this is good. They have flashes. They're not using it in the clearing window, and they're gonna swing. Artist finds just 1 before he falls. Dutchy wins their first on the board for 8 sins, but they've lost 4 players.
I would have found it quite grand if Prime got that or Dutchy got that 360 peak to work. But very nice trade, getting the totem pole peak in there. Pretty much impossible to ever deal with that. That's what I liked about Vertigo. You had a lot of spots where you could stack up, and that legit be the best strat.
Like and Vertigo should only be in the same sentence together if they have do not ahead of it, in front of it.
I like Vertigo's skybox.
Sure.
Because it's...
No, I can value that. I like the visuals of Vertigo. Looks like, skyscrapers as we have a fast push outside. Both teams are trying to fight for this red area. 360 infiltrating through the smoke. Can he find a gap onto the CTs? It doesn't seem to be the case, but look at the CTs. They're isolated in the corner. They're going to abandon Dutch completely.
The longer these fights take, the more they go the way of Alaska. As you see Tree just clearing them out, getting stuck in the smokes. 8 sins, just missing that extra layer, right? It's either get 1 kill from that opening fight and then disappear, or have a sort of contingency plan where if a situation like that occurs, have someone be there to at least be able to support, right? You're not going to need to push with 3 at the start, but if you have someone in mini, then you might still be. That was a gruesome death for Dutchy, by the way.
360 still holding that angle for a while. And Prime falls. It's only Moz, just the other side of Extinct, I believe.
Yeah, playing the angle that's so that if the door opens, he won't be spotted at least, or at least instantly. We haven't seen that many clutches actually work out, that many 1vx's, and it's Giraffe on 21 health points, easily dealing with it, confident on the headshot.
Joining up there with Vacancy, 8 kills to top the scoreboard, 6-1, and the economy is in shambles for the CTs.
Once more, that's the risk you run, and I mean, complete opposite of what we had on what we had on Inferno. Well, it's not necessarily hope for. Well, we did kind of hope, but I mean,
we want a close game.
Yes, but we do know it is Alaska's nuke, and this team is just showing their muscles at this point. Because look at that. I mean, yeah, it's a force buy, or a half buy, but you're still getting in with a pretty hefty fight. It's just that the important rounds. Yeah, I talked about this before. There's such little buffer. Such little buffer for 8 sins where, yeah, it's 8 sins, but they can pretty much only afford 1 or none per round. And this A-side pop, it has become slightly worse than what it was from Artists' teams.
Not entirely sure what that setup was. Wolfie will get a flying kill with the MP9. But now alone, okay, we'll get the second, but he is getting swarmed in. Extinct finds another kill, and you know what I would love to see? Extinct do like a response time test. How fast is he? Because I feel like every time we watch someone else face him from their POV, they just instantly die.
Yeah, he's insane. He's very locked in permanently. I always find it a joy. I remember, this is, well, okay, maybe it's not the right time for story time as we have a full gun round coming up. I'll yap about this if we have an eco upcoming.
It's a timeout, right?
But, yeah. he's pretty crazy. It's pretty insane to watch him play from behind him.
Finds Artist.
There you go.
Player advantage for the CTs. Extinct. Being very pesky, making his way through the smoke already. Prime. Could get surprised. Heard a step.
good position from Wolfie, by the way, in secret. Can play it as well, but now is at a threat of that flank. Look at this on the minimap. Oh, their backs turn against each other so close. Of course, they're not wearing cologne or deodorant because it is Epic Land, but otherwise they would have been able to smell each other.
Okay. Wow. We are watching Whiffen with a very hard angle to clear. 7-1. Very slow round with a player disadvantage from Alaska.
I think Extinct has Wolfie in his sights. Draf's gonna get the kill. Look at the minimap. Can we go? Can we? If we can see Extinct now. He's just staring at Wolfie, isn't he? Look at that. Look at that on the X-ray.
I can see it. I can see
Look
it.
at this.
He's
Oh,
gonna get the kill
God.
on Wolfie, and he gets the second one to Dutchy.
Wow.
5v3 turns into a 2 versus 3 as Alaska still player with a disadvantage. Then open up door. 3 falls. Vacancy is now alive, down to half HP. He has done some crazy things this series. He's not gonna find this one. Maybe he will.
Is
as he
it?
finds
Oi,
double.
oi, 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 oi.
Whiffen putting a stop to that attempt, but that was too close for comfort.
That was pretty ridiculous, gotta be honest. Whiffen with a triple kill, and again, right, we're talking about this economy of the CT side. Again, it's looking rough. Right, Alaska haven't built up the biggest bank, right? It's not known, part of the continent is not known to be filled with riches. But, well, actually oil's there. That's why Americans are glad that they have it. Some geographical funsies for you there with several sheep. I see.
Is that geographical or political more than anything?
For everyone at home, I see Waxon visibly looking bored at my story. But we'll be heading into another round. Looking like an inner pop. And
what about to ask you? Do giraffes leave in Alaska?
I don't think they do, but this A-side pop's happening. We're stuck on the outside prime. The one to fight here.
He's still alive. He's gonna find a chance, but he's gonna get shot in the back of the head. Artist full flash gets the kill onto Wolfie. Spray, pray, kill down the Alpha Wolf. And now 8-6. If Dutchy can find a couple, they might try to go for this as Whiffen is getting a bit relentless. All the way in CT, but 3 finds that MP9 attempt, and with an AWP, I don't think there's anything to play for.
Yeah, that op wasn't really getting into that retake anyways. I think if Dutchy would have to get 3 kills there for Whiffen to try and approach this. As they didn't know about a lurk, very little information on the outside, and it's an A-pop that I still, as said, I still do think it's lower level than what it once was on Nuke. I think they've kind of lost their edge a bit, Alaska. Maybe because they haven't been tested that much in my recent games that I watched them on Nuke. But yeah, that A-bomb side attack that they would have, that was one of the reasons that this core made it to the RMRs in the first place.
Wow.
Because those A-side pops, they would destroy big names. Just completely decimate them on that A-bomb side.
Which makes you wonder, right? We talked a little bit about the veto. Why did we see 8-6 ban Ancient and let Nuke go through it, if that's the case?
Ancient's going to be the exact same case.
Okay.
That's the annoying part, right? You're playing against a team that's so much more experienced together, right? Their map pool is deep as hell, and the tops are higher than the Himalayas. It's going to be just 2 rounds thus far for 8-Sins. We've seen an 8-4 half get turned abouts. It's going to be 2 difficult rounds to win.
It will be at least 8 for Alaska. Wolfie dodges the flash, but the second one will be perfect. Taking his eyesight. Giraffe gets one, and a very
Double push, by the way. What's happening here? Looking lower.
I'm not entirely sure, as Extinct is about to get surprised by the MP9 player. Moss gets punished. Artist in 3. Now, 2-player advantage for 8-Sins. You cannot allow for another 2v4 happen.
Every single duo on Alaska is just so threatening. The chemistry really is up there. As a long-range Galil shot, we've been seeing some fresh fire already from Artist. With that Galil, throwback to the opening double dink peak on Inferno. That. But 8-Sins do seem quite comfortable in their positions. Don't really. Really sort of get in.
30 seconds, and that's going to be Prime catching Artist by
On
surprise.
the ladder.
I believe we could even hear them in the hall shouting for getting that kill off the ladder. Now Tree with 15 seconds would find a kill on Dutchy, and the economy of Alaska doesn't look too hot, so he will have to go and save the A4.
Book it.
It's because they did commit to the A bomb site in the previous round when Whiffen saved, right? And they died to the bomb. That's why their money is kind of not great.
Yeah, that's actually true. And, well, 8sin's looking to get to that 8-4, which would be a minimum on the CT side of Nuke. It's going to be a pretty sketchy buy, actually, for the Alaska side. Nonetheless threatening.
Of course.
I mean, these Tech Knights will ruin your day, especially if they go towards the A bomb side again, which I have okay, I'm wrong here, so I've been wrong before. I will be wrong again, but it's gonna be an outside play.
With Tech 9s, of course, why not? Let's see it happen. Extinct will be the one late player towards ramp, as we already have Giraffe with the bomb by himself crossing, and a secret Artist joining up with him in just a moment.
And just a couple of shuffles, not really much happening. So just waiting for the smokes to dissipate, hoping that maybe a fight would start. But Wolfie waiting for his go sign. He's sitting pretty for now. As Alaska really slowing it down, hoping to just catch someone off guard, I reckon.
They've completely abandoned multiple parts of the map as Prime is playing down low in
This is exactly the strat that I meant.
Tree finds the kill onto Wolfie. Whiffen will get the trade in exchange. Dutchy is getting curious. He wants to find some info, and this will be very valuable as it's going to enable Prime to rotate back to A. Whiffen finds the second kill. Artist is fallen vacancy. Gets in through window. Who's going to win the duel? The FAMAS or the M4 jumping off the ladder. Vacancy playing with fire. Has a molly. Extinct gets the kill with the Tech 9 onto Prime and now pushing through the fire. Fantastic 4 not out quite yet, but the Vacancy is. As Extinct gets the kill onto Moz. Dutchy 1 versus 2.
Dutchy has the bomb. He just mollied the bomb.
12 seconds.
He knows he has 14. Oh, Vacancy. He's being loud. The HP is low on both. He needs to isolate these fights. Dutchy can do it.
He just needs to run.
He does it.
It's too
8-4.
Well done for 8sin's Dutchy. So hot. Very, very quick to get out of there. But only 4 rounds on the CT side of Nuke is about 300% less than what you would need to get.
Good maths. Yeah, it isn't what you really want, but considering how that those opening fights went, actually somewhat decent recovery, keeping it at least realistic, right? If the economy gets shafted for Alaska, you're still going to get into awkward situations.
If the sides were inverted.
Yeah, if the sides were inverted, you would be sitting pretty. But I'll keep the story short. Well, oh no, never mind. Scratch that. We won't keep the story short as we are looking to go through 3 maps when Alaska take this over. That's a save.
Love to see it. Vacancy as well with the... What? Just I'm not entirely sure what just happened, but Vacancy's going to get smashed with the duelies. He cannot connect with a single bullet to the head of Prime, and this is what we want to see from 8sin's. If they want to keep this one close, they need to win the pistols, and they have to play our advantage.
Pretty awkward for the duelies to not get a single thing in that round. Giraffe on the USP has the crossfire confirmed, and now there's one more added to that, getting pushed over the side. It's Moss with that final kill. Prime with a double. Prime on T side. We've seen how good that man is on T side Inferno. If he steps in, it's gonna be a lot on his shoulders, because he's gonna need to go in second and get a double kill every single damn round. There's a timeout for Alaska here. They want to know if they need to force or not.
He has, obviously, I mean, I agree with you. The T side has been the optimal one for Prime.
Yeah. Autobots.
Assemble. Is that the Avengers? No, never mind.
Autobots, roll out. Alright, that is terrible. My voice is not deep enough to do that. Since we have a tech pause, I can find a
story time. Go.
You were telling about Extinct's reaction time.
Yes.
First LAN. because I costed him a lot. I wanted to approach him, but every single time I walk on the other side of his PC, he'd just be staring, like zoned in, hard as hell, looking at his monitor, and I'd be like, "Ah, he's playing, he's focused or something." And then after like 3 or 4 times, I walk past around the other side, and he's just on Twitter. he's just on Google or something, like not even searching anything, and he's just fully zoned in on his monitor. So he is legit always zoned up. They were having a big wait for this game because, of course, there was such a delay. You had all the guys taking some rest, participating in like the CS community parkour game. It was all fine and dandy. And Extinct was just hard grinding League. So that man, I don't think, as soon as he decides I'm playing, I don't think he has an off switch.
Hyper-focus is a quality that you need to have, especially when you're playing these long days of multiple best of threes.
He carries that energy. It's what the
Wait, I'm gonna go for something. Zeus is back. We got 3 Zeuses. Is the plural of Zeuses? I don't even know. It's a name. We can't really
multiple Zeusesses. That doesn't work. I'm not gonna make that a thing, but we're gonna see Giraffe waiting at that box. We've seen some Zeuses work out.
Oh, what an
from
HE! That was very nice.
It's a beaut.
First blood falls, but we still have 2 to go.
Alaska might, right? If you look, just so many
Skin.
Zeuses.
It's got the
It's-
skin
yeah.
as well. It's
Beautiful.
Prime. Oh, okay. It's Extinct finding the kill with the USB, not with the Zeus, sadly for us. But Vacancy. We've got one more chance. Artist? What are we cooking, my friend?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Right. Sorry. Yeah.
6th on the board for 8sins, and if they win the next round, I'm going to slowly start believing in a potential comeback. Obviously, that was a round versus 3 Zeuses and a P250, so it's going to be quite... Why are they buying MP9s, Mr. Analyst?
Right. Actually, shout out, possibly new meta. What they're doing now is they are reversing their way of buying the first 2 rounds after Lost Pistol. So what you usually would do is the first round immediately after, you'd go for the full buy with a couple players being on 5-7s. Now they switched that, and now they can get all SMGs out. It's going to be quite equal trades.
And it's a surprise as well, right? As we can see already a couple of flying shots with the MP9s, but Giraffe and Vacancy quite low in HP, and WFN getting out of there as Artist finds another Wolfie Falls.
I don't even know where that fight happened. I think it happened all the way deep into Garage. Yeah. Artist has been controlling this outside area. Not that much on his own, but this Khalil, we've seen him get a couple kills already here. Whiffin's going to be challenged from Secret.
Could be.
Oh, this is tough to recover.
Giraffe, I don't know how he gets away there. I think Giraffe should have just fallen. He's 9 HP, but he gets out. He's going all the way back down, and we also have a nice timing, but Whiffin wins the duel now, getting shot from heaven. Dutchy, they need to realize what Vacancy shooting from.
Everyone's low.
And Vacancy gets the wall bang onto Dutchy. 1 versus 2, Whiffin. He's trying to find something, fake the bomb, finds the kill. 1 versus 1. Where is Giraffe coming from? And he's all the way to Hut. Whiffin has a couple of flashes. He spots it a little bit, jumps, and just the shoulder peek. Switches to the deagle. 1 bullet away, and he will die to the jumping MP9.
Running out of Khalil bullets, knowing you have absolutely nothing to spare. And we're getting there. It is Alaska getting that round win, and that may just keep them comfort all across the rest of this first half, or second half actually. Well, we are going to see the AKs return. There isn't much money build up, if at all, for Alaska. 8sins are not out of this just yet, right? They are still able to break them. But having Prime on a Tech 9, where you really want him to be that second entry, you really want him to be that... Oh, never mind.
It's going to be Dutchy instead. Dutchy with 8.
Oh, beautiful.
Will drop his AK to Prime himself. Again, the top fragger for 8sins in this entire series so far. Not just on you. Dutchy jumping outside with the Tech 9. The smokes have been landed very, very early.
pretty typical lurk setup now here for 8 Sins. Nothing too unsurprising. Gonna send Dutchy in with the single Tech 9. It's gonna be a straight up fight with Extinct, which you really don't count his marbles for. But
He's alone.
yeah,
He's getting swarmed. He's not going to find anything, and that's a massive opening. And now someone's pushing the ball. The Artist finds the kill. Extinct is already down below and gets that second onto Wolfie. And the round has suddenly turned on its head.
Dutchy, I think, unable to really clock in on that movement from Extinct. Could have been a nice push in behind. Back coverage has been there. Artist now finds him.
Save time.
Oof! This is one where you're biting your teeth if you're Dutchy calling this round, and actually at the start going pretty well, but 2v4 8 since they haven't had many chances at realistically winning a round like this.
And vacancy is there. Extinct just shooting bullets for the sake of it. Whiffen will get 1 kill. He's pushing Extinct, but he is very patient. Look at Extinct repositioning, a right crosshair placement, and a headshot to win the round and break the economy of 8 Sins.
It's so easy to get complacent, right? If you're Alaska, and you can really see how serious that they're taking this, right? It's not like they're going to be preparing for the CCT playoffs, and it's difficult to prepare at an Epic LAN event because it will destroy your energy levels. They did prac quite hard on the Friday evening. They did prepare pretty damn well, as they were still here quite late, later than I expected at least, to have talks and have planning ahead.
Like you mentioned, every loss for them would cost them points, right? So they can't afford
so many as well, right? So I don't think within game, like map losses individually, I don't think they actually count.
No, I think it's a series.
Yeah,
overall.
it's per series. So if you win, you win. A win is a win. A win is a win.
Dub's a dub. Dub's in the chat.
But well, actually, chased down a shot. Bit of a fadeaway. Yeah, this is just going to be a mowdown. It's going to be 11 on the board. Will we see 8 Sins get anywhere near Alaska in these final couple? They have 2 rounds, well, 1 round of buffer after this one.
What I want to see is a tactical timeout, right? You had your eco. You're now going to have enough money to purchase. Call attack timeout and, think it through. How are we going to use everything we have to start racking up a few more rounds?
Enable Prime. I sound like an Amazon advert there, but not sponsored, by the way. Enable Prime. That's pretty much all you can do. All that's been working on these T sides, right? You can have a plan. You can do whatever, but you need Prime to be at the best possible spots at those entries, and we haven't seen it much. Every time he's been entering, it's a double kill.
Yeah.
And then they lose the 5v3.
And this time we've gotten Whiffen to actually connect with way more shots, but we got him playing, but Dutchy, Moz, and Wolfie have completely dropped down in form compared to Inferno, and now Moz falls again into another duel versus Giraffe, who I feel like has found so many openings in this entire map. In, out, ramp, A, outside in secret. He has been the thorn in the side of 8 Sins. Extinct, speaking of thorns, gets one for Dutchy on the back of his head. Another 2-player advantage. Timeout didn't come through, and 8 Sins is playing at a disadvantage again.
Yeah.
Like so.
Got the XM barking on the inner bomb site. And, well, got Wolfie probably with a tail between his hind legs, trying to go for something. Somehow that timing escapes Whiffen's demise.
Wolfie. He's going to get swung by 3 people.
It's a very awkward triple fight to take that late into a round, but it's just... It's a testament to Alaska at this point, right?
Giraffe is there, waiting for him. Flash will push him back just slightly. 30 seconds to go, not that much time or HP to play with. Drops down, Giraffe goes top heaven.
And we're counting on Artist to hold the bottom bomb side. It's a bit of an awkward ladder fight. Whiffen does get away. There's still one here.
Someone's waiting for him. It's Vacancy, and Vacancy has been unbelievable. Look at him. He's got Artist in the vent. It doesn't matter. 12-6. We got 6 map points, which means we are ever so close to making it to train.
That's a complete 50-50 there, by the way. If Whiffen just looks to the other side, hey, who knows what might have happened. Actually, the best attempt in a clutch we have seen out of 8sins.
Of course.
As it's been pretty different than most of the games we have been casting, at least, right? We've seen a lot of clutches come through, and here, I think...
We had a lot of clutch attempts, rather, not necessarily successful clutches, I would say.
No, yeah, it's pretty much none, but we also haven't seen many that close of a mid rounds.
I agree. Well, got vacancy indoor, lining them up, burning them down with the molly, finding 3 artists with a smoke shot of the op, and now Dutchy, the IGL of 8sins, alone 1 versus 5 in the coldest state of the United States. Right? I don't know. I was about to say continent, but Alaska's not a continent, and Dutchy is no longer going to be a resident of Nuke as he gets eliminated 13-6. And as you predicted, the nuke was Alaska's territory.
Yes, yes, yes. The nuclear power absolutely feeding the favorites of this Epic LAN tournament, where it was somewhat an expected result, right? Now train. It does... Well, okay, let's not head into train just yet. This map, at some point, right, I think what's going to be very annoying of us to mention, and they'll probably know this themselves, how does this game look if you don't whiff about 12 to 13 clear open headshots in that pistol round?
Slightly closer.
I think a lot closer, actually. Because that opening start went 5-1, what, 7-1 at some point?
Yeah.
I mean, that all was just a sort of tail end of that pistol round happening. And we've seen how important the pistol rounds have been. I mean, looking at the game that Glitch 65 Imperial Academy played, those pistols were massive in that best of 3. And now going in here, you see probably one of the hardest missed pistol round opportunities, at least for the stream.
But can you rely on 8sins to win both pistol rounds every single time? Because they won the second half pistol, right?
Yeah, they did, but you need more. I mean, you're fighting Alaska on their map pick. Getting 2 pistol rounds is a minimum on these rounds, and especially, you know, what... Because I heard, like, from what the echoes outside, the echoes outside where Dutchy was cooking. I know what he was cooking. He was cooking pistol rounds.
I see.
Because looking at how that pistol round was called, where they were set up, having 2 players in vent, having them sort of like pop up like Pikmin, just so good, right?
sense.
It's perfect. Winning recipe, but the stove wasn't on.
I think, on the other hand, this is something you're going to have to decide and talk about at the end of the series.
Yes.
I think at this moment in time, you have to completely forget about Nuke.
Yeah.
You got to switch it off. It doesn't matter. It's 1-1. It's back to a best of 1. You are 1 map away, and we ever so often talk shit about how random or how often upsets can happen in a best of 1.
Yeah. I mean, if you completely isolate it, you can beat Alaska here. If you head into the entire history of how this entire map went, right? I already heard outside, 8sins, they haven't prepared the best. Maybe they're just saying that because they know I'm going to mention it on stream.
over pocket.
This my game won't stop. No, I can't fit in your box. Whoa, that's demolish shop. Froze, set the scene, no plot. Hoes, whoa, please don't play me. Cause when I let the beat sound, you think I'm crazy. But none of you critics gon' phase me. So when I talk like this, don't blame me. I know I'm bad with it. Go against a goat, that's bad business. All of y'all are jokes so sad with it. To me, you're just a ghost, don't get mad with me. Just, it's a mine, gotta get already. Not selling my, you on the, y'all moving, ready to, whoa.
Welcome back to EPIC44. It's the upper bracket deciding game 3, one train away from the grand finals. It's Alaska, it's 8 Sins. I'm Waxon, joined by Sheep, and we are about to witness potentially the upset of the tournament.
That could very much happen. Teams have been very secretive about their trains. Of course, we've been able to watch a bit of them play already throughout this tournament. We've seen Alaska do really well. We've seen 8 Sins be very reliant on their upper, on Whiffin. And it would be such a beautiful moment for him as well to prove himself on this map, to really put his stamp on this best of 3.
It would have to happen, but of course, as you might know here at Epic Land, deciding games 3. We don't know whose side starts on whose side, because they need to go for something. I'm not going to make that joke. They need to play the knife round.
Yeah, that's, I mean, one thing that could be like a magical play is just throw the knife round, make sure you start T-side, and then just win T-side pistol, get a good start to the game. Could happen, but maybe you want that T-side pistol as your second.
Of course, we also had 8 Sins start CT side of Nuke, and that didn't work out too well for them as they were down 2-8 at some point.
Yeah, that was rough. 8 Sins' pistols have been really good, actually.
Yes, they have.
They've been on pretty equal terms with Alaska throughout those pistol rounds. That's going to need to happen more, and then even some more. But, yeah, I mean, I find it difficult to see a world where 8 Sins do win this map without winning both pistols.
I mean, hopefully they will do their best because we want it to be competitive. I want to see shades of map 1 during this map 3. They want to, give them a run for their money, as Alaska, like you mentioned at the beginning of the series, they have everything to lose. Yeah. A defeat here could spell disaster for them.
Yeah, because you're going to have a rough day, and well, you're gonna be going to the Sunday. That's guaranteed.
Yes.
But also one of the things that especially a lot of these Alaska players aren't really used to is playing the 9 a.m. game. They've done it a couple times. They've been there. It's been rough for them, but still, right? It's not really what you want, especially because usually the finalists aren't really partying on the Saturday, but
they're also part of the VRS, right? The points, that's what we're talking about. They want to win, and they don't want to lose. As simple as possible. I don't think either of team wants to lose, of course, but it's that extra stake on the shoulders of Alaska, and I think they will come in swinging on train, and I would like it to be close, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them taken completely over by Storm and annihilate 8 Sins.
Yeah, I mean, it's raining already, so it is that beautiful scenery on train. I mean, every good final match has rain in it. If you look back at every most epic football final that you have ever seen, it's always raining. So, except for the Qatar one, but
I thought you were going to go for the past major finals, because every major final has rain in them.
That's a good one.
Thank you. As we are moments away from getting the action underway, so Sheep, you mentioned Whiffin, but I also have to ask, what would you like to see from the side of Alaska when it comes to individuals?
I mean, one thing that has been their strength, and is something that they are always kind of reliant on, have always been, is kind of those individual reads, right? We saw Glitch Tech earlier today try and do that, kind of failing to, but we're seeing personal repositions.
Yep.
From Vacancy. I was going to list names, but I'll be doing all 5.
Of course.
All of their individual repositions have been spot on throughout this entire series, throughout this entire tournament, right? They have made very little mistakes in reading where exactly they need to be. So going ahead with that, train is a difficult map to either trade when someone is really well positioned, or you mess up your positioning, you're donezo. You are out that round.
That will be a very, very dangerous thing, but again, it's a big if.
A big if.
And Alaska.
Like this big.
Alaska will probably not allow for those ifs to actually take place, as we've said it time and time again. They are the heavy favorites. They are the ones that shouldn't even be looking at map 3, we were expecting this to be a 2-0 affair. And the fact that 8sins has pushed them to the very limit, and we've spoken to Alaska between maps 1 and 2, they said, we're playing our very best game, and they are up there with us. So Alaska at least understand that maybe some of these teams that were in theory considered lower seeds than them are starting to maybe catch up.
Yeah, and it's on a tinier scale than what you see happening at majors, right? Well, we're right below the major at this point, but what you see is what always is a talk, especially in Tier 2, if you look at teams like Passion UA making those runs, Apex, Gamer Legion, it's like, well, it's always a Tier 1 team saying, yeah, they've had so much time to prepare for us, and we're the top team, everybody's looking at us, ha ha ha, look at how good we are. Sure, yeah, but that is like also the case in this isolated environment, because if there's one team that you're going to prepare for, if you're looking at the top 8, top 4 finish, which a lot of teams have been looking at, you are looking at one team to beat, and that one team is in the server right now facing 8sins.
Oh. Knife on the way, commencing. Let's see. Very important. We've highlighted how the first contact can be. We've got a jump up from Artist, getting a couple, but it's actually Moz finding a first double, trades back Moz with a triple kill.
1v1.
Now 1 versus 1. HP, it doesn't really matter. One right click will get the job done as Wolfie gets it. Tree gets cut down in 8sins. Kick things off on the right path.
Yeah, we know Wolves like barks, so he destroys that tree. And ready to see them pick a side. I'm quite confident they're going to go for the CT start. One thing which 8sins have been doing well, and they will probably continue to do well, is bring out that AWP all the time, right? They really prioritize Whiffen having that big green in his hands, and that has been quite good. That has been quite good for them, for sure. Winning a pistol round would go a very long way.
There's stuff being said in the chat, and it is because it's a tech pause. As let's look at what has been purchased already for Alaska. We have a Molly for Artist, a couple of smokes from Extinct and Tree, and 2 Kevlars. Whereas for 8sins, we have...
Oh, I don't like this. Double dual Berettas, or dual dualies, as my patented term is. It's not. Patent pending.
Double
Let's say it
dualies.
like that. The dual dualies.
Dual dualies, okay.
Dual dualies. It rolls off the tongue nicely. You know, double D.
I mean, the more pistols, the better. I guess that's the philosophy for 8sins. Hopefully, they will have a bit more success with them than on the CT side of Nuke.
Oh boy, yeah, that Alaska dual Beretta fiasco, you can call it, with a good up near 40 bullets completely whiffed. It's going to be already quite an early push. We've got 2 green.
Prime.
Ooh, this might be a chance. That is Prime just not being
Griffin
online.
stands his ground, gets 1, gets the second. He wants to transfer to the third. He's running out of bullets on the duelist, but meanwhile, Wolfie has found Artist. Player advantage for 8sins, as Vacancy has also lost a little bit of his HP.
And it's going to be at least a long-range one-shot headshot now, and probably 2 to 3 bullets to the body. Should be all right in these gunfights. Dutchy can afford to, well, he needs to be as perfect as that nuke pistol on the CT side.
He needs to stay alive. Moz spots 1. You gotta wait for your third player. You gotta play the numbers game. I'm not entirely sure what Extinct was doing, but Vacancy has picked up the dualies. It's not gonna be enough as Dutchy finally connects with the headshot. And 8sins kick things off very well. Knife, pistol. Now can you win versus what Wiz? Probably gonna be a force.
All to lose versus nothing to lose.
What a story.
8sins are gonna be quite glad. They've solidified themselves as a top 3 team here at EPIC44. And they could get top 2. Guaranteed.
Such
I
a
mean,
big
or
jump.
they could settle in towards top 2. 8sins have really shown some good plays. 360 just as a ninja through those smoke bombs.
What a drive-by, and he's going deeper and deeper. Okay, Prime finally finds one in exchange with Vacancy with a MAC-10. Brings up the player advantage. Prime
He
is
hit.
attacked by the smoke. He's not going to spot Giraffe just yet. There's a smoke wall as Wolfie He's coming to double up, but look at Tree coming from behind. Spot Wolfie with the headshot, takes him out. The two M4A1 still in play for 8 Sins.
Low HP is there, and that makes Waz make it so nice. 360 with some parkour, but it's the 8 Sins team that have the hardcore 2v4.
And they do it.
Will connect.
They saved both of the M4s. The only weapons that were lost were SMGs, and now Giraffe and his squad will have to eco, as that was very, very dangerous.
Something I would have loved to see in a round like this is a deagle buy from one of the players. Dutchy maybe offering himself up to that. No. That's been a strat. Chris J was pretty much the only one to do that. We'll ignore his Twitter antics, but as a player, isolated, I absolutely love the man. And he went for a strat, popularized it on this very map, where in buys like this, he'd just be on a deagle, because the importance of the AWP is so big. So he would make sure to always carry that extra cash. Because why not, right? A deagle's not going to hurt you. Put yourself into a passive or at least tradable position. You're going to be quite all right if you play just duos.
Speaking of deagle, Giraffe does have one, and so does 360. And it's going to connect. WFN gets deleted from the face of the earth for the foreseeable remaining round.
Pretty light dink, actually, going through that wooden plank. It's going to be a bomb plant, so at least some cash to work with later on. 4 versus 4 retake.
Dutchy.
It's pretty much this flank that's going to be worth a lot. Dutchy does it here. The steps behind him.
Still player disadvantage for the T's. Tree connects with another bullet, but it's not a headshot. Extinct gets the kill on the flank. It's Extinct 1 versus 2, but Prime again finds 4 this time around to allow 8 Sins to win. Losing maybe a little bit too many players in this one, but as long as you win the round, sheep, doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah, they really got to go round by round, which is an obvious one, but I say that, and I'm going to instantly counteract that point with saying, no, you got to look ahead with that AWP. Finally, it's coming out, so that's good to see. As Whiffen will have it, Artist will have it. The fight that will decide this map, that will decide this best of 3, Whiffen v Artist. They've been getting a lot of head-to-heads, by the way. Usually don't see it that often. They've been challenging each other.
And Whiffen has started to win some of those, as Artist is very close already with the op. So is Whiffen. Dutchy playing anti-flash. Artist is just going to walk into it. A crossfire of the CT op, and Whiffen wins again.
I am struggling to see what Artist's plan was there. That's just a heat check. That's a confidence play.
Wolfie just says, sit down, Extinct.
And all of a sudden, Alaska quite wounded. Wolfie needs to cover for vacancies. Play here through the sides. They will. As just have normal trades. Well, I mean, 8 Sins are going to have to start keeping things clean.
360 and Giraffe.
Oh.
Oh, spotted the back of Moz. There's 2 of them there. Molly to enable an angle. Giraffe, nice kill onto Whiffen. Instantly gets killed. That's the bomb. Tree finds 1. 1 versus 2, 45 seconds. Needs to retrieve it.
I mean, we may, and 8 Sins may, have to change the perspective in rounds like this, where you're in that 4v2 scenario where usually you'd kind of be mad at yourself for not keeping enough players alive, but maybe that just isn't a luxury you can afford at this point.
Nice angle.
That op will be saved. Everything's going to be looking quite all right. I say, oh yeah, the op is saved.
There's a lot of money. Not an overwhelming amount of money, but they have been winning back-to-back rounds, and you know, keeping 1 player, 2 players alive is better than 0.
One thing that also happened earlier, or well, simultaneous as this best of 3, was another lower bracket round, the fight for top 4, the fight for HLTV.
Yeah.
Cat Events picking up their roster, and they have made it into top 4. They've beaten Antarctica 2-0, which is pretty damn impressive. But Cat Events went into the lower brackets very early, so they're gonna have a big day. But now, all of a sudden, Cat Events beating Antarctica that dominantly, all of a sudden they become a contender for that final as well.
They will still have another game to play, but now it's Wolfie
Oh,
playing
wow.
versus Extinct and gets the first one. Can he spray through the smoke? He needs to line them up. He finds the double. He's running out of bullets. Will reposition, and now he needs a bit of assistance. Flash coming in. Giraffe gets the kill before he gets taken out by Prime. AWP from Weapon. We've seen this angle multiple times today. This time Tree will get the trade, but he's alone in a world of hurt, just like the last round.
We were outside in between maps right before this one started. I heard the 8sins camp, or someone supportive of the 8sins camp at least, because there were like 12 people outside. Don't know how big their team is, but
That's the team.
I heard mention care for Ivy, because Alaska are fond of Ivy. I've heard that call out be dropped, and looking at how thorough that Ivy setup was in what was sort of the response gun round, right? You're 5-0 down, 4-0 at that point. You got another gun round. The last one went terribly. Might as well try what you're comfortable with. That was the Ivy play. That gets destroyed. But for the first time, they keep 3 players alive.
And this round could very well be a great turning point for Alaska if they can pull an upset with the Tech9's 8sins. They need to win it to get 6-0. I'm suspecting a potential timeout afterwards. Prime
Awkward.
needs to get it. He doesn't control the Dutchie is there to find 2. Still 3 versus 3. They will retrieve one of the M4s. Wolfie needs to find one. Spots the legs, spots the head, gets the kill, stays alive, finds the second. Wolfie is impeccable playing this position, and now Artist with a retrieved M4A4 will need to try to find something, but it's both Wolfie and Hefen.
Just too late.
Not a refrag. The bomb's still on the ground.
Yeah, some awesome spray control. There is vision indeed. Awesome spray control by Wolfie there, really keeping calm in what could have been quite a frantic fight.
He's gonna shift walk into the crosshair. Whiffen needs to connect with this one. He will! He doesn't hesitate. This is not the same Whiffen we've seen on Inferno. Train has seemed, well, so far very good for him, but the previous map is when, despite them losing at 6, he was connecting with some very good shots.
Let me get some top-tier analysis in.
Okay.
I'm going to read off statistics.
Please.
9-3 for Prime. Absolutely what you need.
Optimal.
Moz hasn't had a single death yet, but he's been dropping for his teammates so often that he's still 1.3k. And then heading over to the other side of your screen, if viewers please follow me over towards the right hand of your viewing platform, we're going to see Artist 1 in 6, Extinct 2 in 6, everyone having 6 deaths. It's been 5 kills all across the board. Alaska have been getting stomped out, and those shots, right, it can become dangerous.
Not connecting. Whiffen taking a bit of an HE damage. We have a wall back attempt.
Yeah, that is actually a wall bang. It doesn't do that. There are a lot of wall bangs on Train. It's become like old Overpass or like 1.6 any map.
No, old 1.6 nuke was like,
Yeah.
there were no walls on that map. As Dutchie falls, Vacancy opens up the map, and it's Alaska with player advantage for the first time in forever. Prime and Wolfie will get curious. They will clear Ivy, and they're going to go deeper, actually.
It's not really going to be the greatest decision. Extinct long range should be sharp on it. I mean, the thing is, how well does Wolfie commit to this rotate? Because you're going to be walking, you might be a bit late. Yuta will be too late to prevent them from entering this bomb site. Extinct, he's going to check behind him eventually.
But is he going to do it in time? That's the question. Ooh, we got another player coming around. This is a very interesting approach for a retake. 8sins realizing they need to sandwich it. The bullets do not connect because the bomb is the other side, and Wolfie will find a kill onto Extinct. Artist takes out Moz.
Very active on that CT side, but it might have been just a bit too late. Not necessarily that opposition from within the bomb site.
You're saving.
And it is indeed going to be a save. One thing that I do want to highlight, especially for people watching at home or people that haven't been quite there with many Train maps being live streamed, I have personal experience with seeing this map go 3 times. I've costed this map 3 times previously.
Okay.
10-2 half, 10-2 half, 11-3 half. Multiple games that I've watched that had a similar scoreline on the CT side all became comebacks.
And that's the beauty of Train, of course.
So let's not get too hype. It's 6-1, but that one round is that Valuda's high. That's like Bitcoin value. A single round on the T side here. Any crypto fiends in the chat?
No, I was thinking Bitcoin value before Friday, I hope. As I'm looking at the economy for 8 sins, and yeah, I mean, that's why they saved. It's not looking too hot for them if they lose this one. Let's see, utility being thrown out of vacancy, but ooh, Prime and Dutchy very close to connector.
Taking control of this area, it is always good to have, but at some point you're gonna need to move one out. It's gonna be 360, just complete solo peeking out of Pop Dog.
With an hop angle 360, if he goes for the wide swing, this could get easy kill. Volley out, gotta push him away, connects with a wallbang headshot, but Griffin does not miss. Artist, when the smoke dissipates, might have a clear angle onto Wolfie. Oh, they're gonna contest. It's op versus op, and Artist wins this one with a wallbang. Griffin was low HP already. Wolfie spotted the barrel.
Yeah.
He's gonna get a headshot. Very nice from Wolfie.
Is it gonna matter though? They've completely emptied out that entire B bomb side. Inner, not covered at all. Moz, if he gets instantly killed, that's gonna be round done.
He has a
and
molly.
Dusted spots so many. Extinct gets a spot in return.
You need to stay alive. He's gonna flash himself out and gonna try to buy more time going up on the main ramp. Wolfie very close to them on their tail. Extinct gets a beautiful headshot. HE. Whoa! What a headshot! Wolfie possessed by the ghost of, I don't even know, the Alpha Pack. As Prime gets smoked off, he's gonna walk out. Extinct, is he gonna be aware? No, he is not. Prime catches him off guard, and now it's vacancy. 1 versus 2. Falling to the long range. M4A4. 7-1 for 8 sins that somehow bring this round back.
That is what you need to do. Even rounds where it looks like you're down and out. Wolfie. Oi, 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 that is pure nasty. 7-1. That is a very important round to win. It's going to hurt your eco. They're still going to be full, but already Dutchy's making a compromise. They got to watch out with letting these rounds get close.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter how you do it if you do it cheap. 7-1 is a way. I mean, that's what we wanted to see from 8 sins, right? You mentioned losing 1 round is already maybe more than sufficient. Take a breathe.
Take a breath.
Look at Dutchy with the MP9. Got spot 1. He's not going to be patient, going to get the kill right away and disengage. Has another smoke, has to help himself. Needs a bit of assistance as Artist will find the kill. He's getting overwhelmed, but the MP9 does not connect with the spray bullets. Whiffin with the AWP inside gets a nice trade. He is going to get flanked, but he's holding the angle. He does a wide swing, but Extinct very patient with the crouch AK-47, and now Moz. He would love to find maybe a surprise lurk, a couple of bullets in the back. Here's the bomb.
Right out in the open. It's going to be Giraffe easily finding that kill in Alaska. Well, then we're going to get closer to rounds eventually, and it's the second on the board.
It's going to be the third, looking at the economy as well, Sheep.
Yep, that's been too much. This could be the turning point of this map. This really could. This could be the end station, at least, for the 8 sins train thus far.
I think the play here is you go full eco, you don't invest absolutely anything, you lose the third, and then you call a timeout to reassure yourself of what you're going to do for the final 2 rounds.
Yeah, that is by far one of the better decisions you can make now, and they are listening, so that is very nice. They aren't actually
I hope they're
listening.
not.
They aren't actually listening. Don't you guys worry about that, but we're going to get vacancy with 2. Maybe the USPs can chime in with 1 or a couple. Maybe saving an AK could be pretty big. And I think Dutchy is at least going to attempt. Not the easiest map to go for a hunt.
No,
of
definitely
a weapon.
not.
Far from it, actually. I think Anubis is one of the easiest. Saving on Anubis can be quite tedious.
I think Ancient as well. Quite a good map to save.
Yeah, but on Ancient you have like the whole T-spawn area.
Yeah.
Which is pretty alright to save.
That's what I mean, so it's quite good to saving.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I understood you were wrong. But yeah, train definitely one of the worst ones, especially if you've got coverage here from Prime.
11-4 for Prime as well. A very good scoreline for, again, arguably my MVP of the series so far.
Yeah, he has been really, really good. For Alaska, it's been mostly just everyone stepping up. It's been 360 mostly finding influence with all those entry
And
frags.
vacancy with the clutches on, I believe, was
Inferno, yeah. Vacancy was doing really well on Inferno. Unfortunately, he didn't manage to win that game, or that map, of course. But also looking at the 8 in his team, it really has been Prime that has been the consistency.
Yeah, he's
throughout,
been,
right?
he's been the standout player, and Moz has been the rock of the team in this series, I would say. Dutchy, Whiffin, and Wolfie with various moments of spectacle on display. So let's see, Whiffin will get a chance again. Flash coming in, got a nice dodge it, and he's gonna miss the shot. He's isolated in the corner and gets obliterated. That's Prime right now. He's about to face 4 players coming his way.
This is going to be a storming take. I mean, Molly's nades, flashbangs, Prime needs to do a lot here.
Still alone, 1 versus 3. What a headshot from
So
Extinct.
quick once more.
Double headshot from the king of reflex peeking. Extinct, impressive as ever.
I think we can call him the king of Epic Land, to be fair. Record winner. He won't care much for the name, but
Nice
Wolfie chiming in. Wolfie needs the 4K 1v2. They have the ability to avoid him.
Artist has the op though.
He's so stuck here.
Finds
so
the kill,
stuck.
Wolfie.
Oh!
Almost escapes through the smoke. It was the battle between Extinct and Wolfie, but in the end,
It doesn't even matter.
well, he tried so hard. And now the economy is again in shambles. They will have to go purchase everything they can. Still 7-5 at the halftime is better, but they will be leading, but not what we wanted to see. We were looking at 9, 10, 11 rounds maybe, even for 8 sins.
Still that possibility is there, right? If we're just going to be yapping about second half pistols all the time. Oh, that's what the game has done to us. Maybe they can get a bit cheeky with these.
But Whiffin is going to get curious. He would have been punished as there were 3 keys in there, 4 rather. Falls to vacancy, who opens up the map. Electric play. Wolfie connects through the bullets, through the smoke. They are back to a 4 versus 4. Still gun disadvantage. Artist pushing through. Yivy only finds 1 as Dutchy trades it right away. 3 spraying through the smoke, and it's such a back and forth, but Alaska still with a numbers advantage.
Prime's on a journey. 360 seems to be aware. Moz is going to escape. Let Prime do his thing. 360 can absolutely frag this. And Extinct with the 90-degree cranking 90s like it's Fortnite. And Alaska will win that 5th. I want to highlight one moment that happened in the second to last round where Whiffin committed to the inside angle of Pop Dog, which I kind of thought was reasonable at some point until I saw Prime still holding that smoke. There were 2 players holding the A main smoke, and he committed to the inside of it. You could argue right side peak, but I feel like it's a management type mistake of a peak actually that gets in there, that sneaks in there, because it's such a commitment to that fight. You're not going to escape there. And it's such a bummer, right?
And he didn't.
That's
Technical calls, we're looking
we may see that actually happen in the replays in this, so I can highlight it.
we're talking about the op round, right? When you got
Yeah, round 11 would be the case. Let's see if we'll get to it, as hopefully this technical pause can be fixed soon. We have had, I'm going to knock on wood real quick, we have had a very smooth event thus far, so shout out everyone working the production, shout out all the league operators.
Of course.
Because
An amazing team.
it has really, really gone quite well.
EPIC44. It's in the name sheet. It's epic.
Now if we can get a grand final without delay, that'd be magical. It's
Sure.
never, it's legit never anyone's fault that we get a delay on the grand final, by the way. I'm not blaming anyone. It just happens.
Life gets in the way.
Life does get in the way. Wolfie is enjoying being back on train. He hasn't played much CS2, but or many tournaments on CS2 at least, but he's feeling himself. He likes this new map.
Yeah, 15 and 9.
Top of the scoreboard by a pretty big margin, actually.
Yeah, even ahead of Prime.
And ahead of anyone on Alaska.
But now the tide has turned. A look at what they got. Double smokes, flashes, and a molly with 2 Kevlars for Whiffin and Moz. How are they going to be going? It actually, no, it's Wolfie, sorry. They dropped the molly to Wolfie. I
Yep.
understand now.
This pistol round going to be most important, and all blue in the kill feed.
It's
That's a rainy day for the T side.
Dutchy can't find anything as they lose this. Well, they lose one of the pistols. And you mentioned it on Nuke, you mentioned it at the beginning of the game. If we want 8 Sins to win, they need to get both pistols, and they've only achieved 50% of the mission.
Once more, usually it's a good start's half the job done, but we're entering into situations now where that might not even be the case, right? It's 6-7, still the lead, but that's going to be disappearing right now, unless we'll get the second train Glock, full Glock round of the day.
Of the day, yeah. That would be.
It's a ridiculous sentence, by the way.
I don't think I have seen this setup that we have right now from these 8 Sins players, not ironically, since 2009. No, yeah, genuinely, like this was one of the plays he used to do on an eco. Wow. I mean, I think the 8 Sins players were maybe about 6 years old at best back then, maybe even younger. So
that's Artist was already 5 years deep into his career. No. Artist isn't that old, actually.
it was.
He likes to tell he is.
And of course, as back in the day, it only ends up with a 4K for the 360 player in Ivy. Yeah, this never worked. It was just more of a way of treating the eco round to discuss the plans of what you're gonna do. But it did used to make for a very cool highlight reels.
It did feel like a pretty, like the length of it felt like a typical tactical timeout.
Yeah.
So there must have been some conversation going on. The whole team very confident in Dutchy's calling.
And the crowd goes wild as we
Very.
have the first gun round of this second half. Oh, that HE!
Oh,
150
bro.
damage.
They went for a different
double
sort of
one.
lineup.
They're destroying them, but Wolfie wants to have a say about this, and he's gonna get a double kill. He continues, he's aggressive. He's got 17 kills. Moz is the one to fall. Artist stands his ground. Vacancy.
4 by 3.
By side, they didn't see each other. You need to change your resolution as Dutchy's alone. 1 versus 3.
Wolfie
Artist.
putting his teeth into this round.
The bomb is dropped. Dutchy, 1 bullet to Artist would get the job done. He is walking past the smoke that was deployed by the CTs.
How fast they're going to realize Artist is forced to reload. So he's on a pistol. This
He's
one
gonna walk into his spot here. Dutchy gets a nice headshot.
execution.
Not gonna play with fire. Has his smoke. Both of them do. Giraffe has the correct read. He's walking behind Dutchy. Gets no chance, but misses the headshot as Dutchy turns around with a perfect aim.
That is so early on. We've seen Alaska win their first T-side round at round 7. Giraffe not there today,
Yeah,
at least here on train. But we've seen that first win of Alaska be very, very late into the half, about halfway. Well, pretty much exactly halfway into the half. Now we're in a situation where Dutchy gets this 1 versus 2 clutch win already.
Yeah, very early.
The one problem that they have is that they let 5 rounds go. That is the only issue. Otherwise, we would have been looking at probably the straight line to the finish for 8 Sins. Although, get one more win now, and you are in. The money is screwed, though, for both teams. This is going to be a fun round.
Arguably slightly worse for 8 Sins, as Alaska have managed to scramble up and get a couple of N4s and an AWP for Artist. But Giraffe, man, 5 and 10, missing that chance to win the round.
It's the first time, actually, because on Inferno, everyone of Alaska was pretty much turning up.
Yeah, and I think
Fine.
Giraffe was playing exceptionally. Remember, all those retakes him and Vacancy were pulling up, right? So it's sad to see him, but, you know, we are talking about fatigue for 8 Sins. Alaska is also human. They have human play. His name is a giraffe, but he's a man. Tree is not actually a tree.
No,
Although he has 18 and 10, that's crazy.
I do think they've managed to make a tree run Doom at this point. So who knows? Maybe it's just a tree running CS. At this point, though, Giraffe very fast in taking the control early on. Footsteps and nades. That must have been heard, right? I say that with a bit of a...
He's got a long neck, so he could maybe be spotted and get a headshot.
Just folded around the corner.
Oh, someone's going to peek the main ramp. That's going to be struck. The molly's perfectly placed, pushing Giraffe and Vacancy out. Giraffe eating 50% damage. We also have Artist falling back. He's got the op. And Aces are having a very good protocol so far.
This is an identical mid-round as to what Alaska had earlier on. Identical.
Yeah.
It's legit perfectly the same. So Aidsins maybe taking a page out of Belfast's book, which have taken a page out of Alaska's book. So lots of books being copied, but of course share the knowledge.
Thief book. Book of Thieves? What's that famous film based on the book? Something Book of Thieves. Anyway, irrelevant for now.
Thieves of books.
Literacy conversation post-game as we are very slow. Also, Vacancy can hear a lot of action happening. 30 seconds to go. Ancients need to start getting active, and they're going to go low ramp. Giraffe has a good angle. Artist doesn't shoot first. He's going to actually get caught. Giraffe stands his ground. 20 seconds. Vacancy is getting very curious. Someone is behind him. The molly coming in. The Galil kills ensue. And now Prime all the way backside.
Wow.
What a kill. Extinct. He was on the lurk. Only finds one. The bomb will get planted towards connector. Extinct finds one. I don't know why Whiffin was fighting that.
But in a 1v3,
Spots one.
really trusted. Dutch, he's being good. Good on these late rounds. On Nuke as well, on Inferno as well. The IGL, as soon as all of his teammates are dead, all that brain power goes to clutching, and he is finding his way through. And we've had this early on in the half 2 T-cert rounds back to back.
It's impeccable from 8sins. No matter how loud the Osu Grand Final is, the 8sins squad is going to get even louder if they can keep racking up rounds. Giraffe with a P250 is going to be very aggressive. Moz is aware that the two bottom fraggers of the map have a little encounter. Well, Moz will win.
Isn't that like the meme you always see on Twitter, the battle of mid?
Oh! A couple of USB headshots, but Wolf is there to secure it. I thought it could get a bit dicey in that close quarters, but no. He doesn't get anything.
That's one greedy K9 taking all of the eco frags for himself like it didn't have enough yet. 21 to his name. That will be 22. Wolfie having a wonderful time here.
It's the battle of the forest. Tree versus Wolfie. Nature.
Hold on, I've just realized a problem. When's going to be the next round we're going to see an AWP on the CT side? Because this is a complete full buy. Winning this wouldn't mean anything. There's no op on the other side. It's going to take at least 2 more rounds, including this one, 2 rounds, before there's even a hint of an AWP. At that point, we could have seriously have a discussion of 8sins being on map point.
We could very well be Sheep, but it has to continue with another impeccable gun round. They have had a few already, but now Extinct playing in front with the molly, with the smoke, will fall back. Giraffe very patient, waiting to spot a leg, and he's going to find it in a second. He sees it. It's a ton of damage. What a nice pre-fire from what I believe was Dutchy? I'm not sure. Maybe Prime.
No, it's Prime, yeah. Prime up there. And I have a feeling, looking at the way this round started, now it's 3 towards A main, 2 towards the inner bomb site, but inner pushes on multiple occasions have been the solo or duo, like the round wins, right? That A bomb site's very difficult to clear, especially against a team like Alaska. But
oh, pre-smoke.
8sins, I might have a feeling they kind of fooled with me saying they only practiced twice. I legit have a feeling Whiffin just was messing with me.
Well, who knows?
Did they practice twice versus Alaska? Because they're looking amazing.
Did they practice twice versus Navi at this rate? I'm not even sure they're going to use the HE to create a separation. Extinct is fully blinded, and it's going to be Moz getting the kill onto Artist. Player advantage going back and forth, but 8sins have the numbers until Tree has a say. He can swing around. It's Giraffe getting the kill onto Moz. 25 seconds. Prime picks up the bomb.
Oh, slight mistake maybe there, getting himself disconnected from Prime earlier on, wanting to take the space. More players on that A bomb site than expected, that's for sure. Because it was a full load up, just 10 seconds to work with here. And that's a new one, actually. So,
Absolutely.
Peekaboo, surprise there. Giraffe's head on his actual head height at that point.
Yeah. We told him about the neck, you know, it's long neck. You gotta aim higher when you're facing Giraffe, who has found his 8th kill. At the same time, we highlighted him slightly underperforming, but Moz, his counterpart, also a bit quiet on this train.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen, at least from his perspective of from gunfights he's been in, we haven't seen many, like, missed ones, right?
No, we haven't.
No, so looking at it, yeah, of course, the lack of influence is being felt, but especially in those final 4 rounds. But those were such stomps that we were probably still in situations where Moz could have quite easily, well, it wouldn't have mattered that much. But going ahead, we've had the timeout from the 8 since wanting to have a bit of a chat, change of pace.
They're going out. They're fast. Wolfie is here. He has found the first one. He's going to go for one. It's actually Prime. It's not him. And now Artist wants to get a few back. He gets shot in the back of the head. The action continues. Vacancy with the MP9 finds one. And somehow Alaska have survived the early storm. But Prime has made his way into a very good position. The problem is they have lost the bomb.
Jesus Christ, nearly gave me a heart attack. I thought that Wolfie had that double entry on lock. That was... My goodness, rest in peace, headphone users. But
it's Prime.
That's ridiculous. Okay, this flank, I mean, we've seen this. The supposed to be not favorites.
Giraffe's going to check it. Giraffe's looking at the wrong side, and Prime has it. Now another player advantage for 8 Sins, and Vacancy has yet to find a rifle.
Check it with your back, and you're going to get hit. I mean, a 1v2 Vacancy, absolutely not what you want this situation. But 8 Sins have to connect the dots here, which... I mean, even Bluetooth isn't reaching them at this point, so they're going to have to really be sharp on the comms. You're not going to be able to physically react off of each other at this point, and Vacancy is going to make a move. Absolutely impossible for him to upgrade, by the way.
It should be an easy overwhelmed play here. Molly coming in towards Electric, got to push him out. He gets the headshot mid-distance with the MP9, and now Dutchy gets smoked off. 25 seconds. That's going to enable him. He's actually quite speedy. He was heard, and Vacancy has turned around.
Bomb.
He's watching the angle. 18 seconds. Who's going to win it? Is it going to be Dutchy or Vacancy? Flash out. He's going to hold it. And Dutchy's blinded. Going to swing out. Vacancy wins it with the MP9.
Vacancy destroying the man who's been winning all of the clutches for 8 Sins, and Alaska. That is such a mighty important round. The money is gone, and Alaska want to rub it in their faces. It's going to be that 9th picked up, hand the timeout instantly in. Oh my word, such a massive opener. This does also, for mental reasons, or well, mentally, give time for 8 Sins to reset. That's good to see. That's good to have happen, but I mean, we are in.
Called it, right? This is an Alaska timeout.
Yeah, but I mean, 8 Sins. It's not like 8 Sins would have to play the round.
No, of course not. I'm just saying, like it's very interesting to see.
Yeah, it's a BM timeout if I've ever seen one. That's for sure.
Well, maybe they thought they were gonna lose, right? He was 1v2 with no chance. They were like, I'll just call attack timeout.
I would jump across the table to punch my teammate if someone mid-clutch would type in tech pause or tactical pause. I would be fuming. Even if I'd won, I'd still be fuming.
We've been talking about Vacancy all series long, and he might not be the top fragger for Alaska, but again, pulling out the miracle, making it happen. And 8 Sins use that timeout to decide to force Sheep.
The hell?
Exactly.
That is
questionable at best. What's Dutch?
You see what they're lining up for, right? They're waiting for that. They're waiting for the pop dog aggression, or at least Brownhall's aggression, which we have seen Alaska go for. Not this time because they know the money's a bit poo-poo. Speaking about Brownhalls.
Brownhalls, yeah. I get it. That's funny.
But a bit of a pop play into the inner bomb site. Alaska are expecting this.
The pressure getting to 8 Sins, I believe.
Oh my goodness. Imagine a reroute now through Long Dog.
That would
if they go straight on, that's a magic magic luck.
Sadly for them, it's not going to happen. They're going to keep on approaching the smoke as it gets covered up again. 50 seconds. A lot of information is being gathered. If we can take a look at Tree all the way, Tree 360.
Deep in Ivy, but players are leaving this B bomb site. Alaska running on 0 info. That flashback is beautiful.
Giraffe finds the first and the second. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't shiver. But Wolfie and Dutchy, well, put an end to extend vacancy. He has not really revealed his position just yet, but look at the flank. 2 players there coming. Dutchy spots one. Vacancy. Is he going to get overwhelmed? The answer seems to be yes.
Down.
That's a nice kill. 18 seconds to go. Artist already down on low ramp.
Wolfie is booking it towards the other bomb site, but Artist will have the easy cutoff. I think it's just going to be Artist bum rushing this bomb plant. He knows he still has a teammate alive. There you go, not letting go of that keyboard. A yell from Tree comes through those halls. 8sins, a big commitment to the cause, but that might be the cause of their demise.
I'm not entirely sure why the force took place. We actually have another tactical timeout called by...
These teams are taking this deadly serious.
I mean, they should do.
That's insane.
8sins was up 10-8. If you remember, Inferno was very similar. 10-8 up, down 10-12, took us to the OT. Double OT, had the match point, missed it again, and then pushed it over the finish line. This time the problem is, it's not T-side Inferno Sheep, it's T-side Train, and look at what they're doing. They're buying again.
It's so high risk. It's so high risk. But then on the other end, because I know that 8sins know. Because if you look at the money on the CT side, that's that shiny thing at the bottom of the pool that they're looking at like, oh, I can die for that. But that pool, it has an unknown depth, right? They're going to force their way deeper and deeper and deeper. Full Ivy push. Alaska looking to take control once more. Once again, being very fond of taking control of that position. But also, 360 is going to be kind of offline for the first full minute of this entire game because he's not going to be pushing in. They don't want to risk anything either.
Taking a bit of an advantage of the fact that they've already spotted maybe a weakness in 8sins' default, completely abandoning Ivy.
It's the exact same strat.
Giraffe gets caught. This time it's a molly that he's going to use to halt him, not the smoke. Re-smoke's coming right away. Artist.
First Prime.
Is a perfect angle. He will get headshotted, but survives. That's only a Galil, as Prime cannot win the exchange.
Very nice off angle because it kind of prevents you going for that wide swing because it's right ahead of that wide swing angle. This could be the nil. Oh,
it's an absolute disaster. 360 somehow doesn't get the kill as Wolfie with the fast finger on the Galil. Now Vacancy still holding this position. Can hear a rotation, but it's Artist long range with the M4A1. It could have a couple players walking to his crosshair. Gets a nice headshot and Moss dies. 30 seconds.
Oh man, they've been really bouncing themselves back and forth in this round.
They need to save, I think. They're gonna fake pop.
What's saving gonna do?
There's 3 players towards B. It's gonna be a 3v3. Who's gonna have the better aim? Extinct.
Gonna be able to get this bomb down.
Giraffe doesn't connect with the bullets. Dutchy gets the kill. Artist somehow has died, and now it's Extinct. Going for the clutch of a lifetime. He's gonna fall. Oh, Whiffin! Going for it. Getting 2 and 8sins. The risk pays off.
The risk does pay off. I'm not going to call it a good or bad call. I won't dive that deep. But my goodness, Whiffin. Oh, God, how does he get away with that? Alaska calling another time, but this time for completely different reasons. This is what 8sins were aiming for. This is that moment.
So they had a chance. They lost the clutch versus an MP9. 8sins. Pressure makes diamonds. You must not crumble. You almost did a few rounds ago. You now have a second chance at retribution, a second chance of making things right.
My goodness, and for a man they've been so reliant on for this map, he hasn't really brought in that much impact with an AWP, but with a Galil of all things, he puts that nail into the coffin. Artist, they had one player on enough money. This is a full glass cannon commitment of a man that hasn't really been that far. We have an epic crescendo here.
The mental games continue to realizing Alaska, same thing as 8 Sins. We cannot allow them to get a couple of rounds in a row. We're going to try to break their economy.
Full A-side stack. That's what they're going for. 8 Sins are going to go for slower play again. And these slow T-side rounds, Dutchy has been really able to make Artist think Extinct put down to 4 HP by this.
Giraffe solo playing in B with a 5-7. 8 Sins have loved to go to that B bomb site at the end of every single default, but this time they are playing a bit more towards A. This could be very risky as Artist is there.
And 8 Sins, they're not moving yet. You see that the goal is quite clear at this point, where Artist, that AWP, he's in a pretty safe spot to be able to fall back. There's going to be, the util 2 here is going to be late, so he'll probably be able to find an escape.
Do you even expect an op?
That's a good point.
I don't think you do. Artist, he hasn't shot a single bullet yet. He hasn't given away his position. He's going to re-smoke.
This is the first util throw in this round.
Throwing it in. Moz is actually going to walk through it. I think that's the correct call, and Artist gets the opening.
And on who?
Drops down. Vacancy finds the one with 5-7, and this is going all the way back in Alaska's favor as Artist is unstoppable. He's going to find a third hat trick for the Artist himself, and it's Dutchy. 1 versus 5. Going to get shot in the back of the head. 5-7, and we can hear Alaska. They are loud and they are hungry.
That AWP, an Artist only needs a single brush. The paint will be blood spilled. It's going to be 3 kills on the IGL, and we're back in the exact same scenario. We are going for broke for all of these rounds. Continued on. And 8 Sins find a compromise. They are willing to compromise, risking an overtime. Their hero throughout train, 26 kill Wolfie. He will have that AK. He will try and carry them through into a solo. Currently solo. Will be duo. Defended. B bomb side.
Vacancy made a step. He was hurt from the players. Now
they don't have the util to fight this, right? You can't really go for a peek into this. Heading into that upper bomb site, you have Giraffe and Artist. That AWP, we've seen it be quite ineffective on this inner bomb site, actually. Will that continue here? Well,
look at this
angle. This peak.
Such a tough angle. Who doesn't shot? And Wolfie gets it! He keeps his team alive. Moss doubles up with Dutchy, and now Giraffe is out. They have the bomb site. The bomb's gonna go down. We have a nice attempt from Extinct, but he does not connect with the bullets. They're getting overwhelmed, and they're calling a save.
It's a save.
8 Sins have the map and match point. They are 1 round away from making it to the Epic LAN Grand Finals and upsetting Alaska.
I am losing my mind. Wolfie has the headwind just flying through his cape. That hero AK, we saw it building up, and man, talk about ineffectiveness, talk about being made redundant. Artist just smacked out of the round, and that is the most effectiveness you can get out of a single buy. 8 Sins are looking to make that compromise, still going full beans for it. It's gonna be map point. Of course, the risk of OT is still there. Dutchy was on a Glock this entire round. On a Glock, for crying out loud.
Back and forth flawless rounds. First for Alaska when they forced with an op.
Look
and
at
then
this.
a force
Look at
with
this.
a single AK. 3, 2, 1. Slow-mo. Had a chance. Didn't get it. Second chance
1,
missed.
2. Boy, oi, oi.
Absolute annihilation as the Wolves thrive in Alaska. Cold environment is where he belongs, and he is showing it right now. Final round of regulation. 24. Let's begin.
Same setup again. This time, Vacancy being a lot more aggressive.
Gets
Going
one.
for that push.
Finds
He
a double.
wants it. It's 2. Resetting now. All control just wiped from the map from 8 Sins.
Shutting them down, but we still have the heaviest of them hitters. It's Wolfie and Whiffin.
Wolf and Whiff and Dutchy. It's the trio you want, but this would be a highlight of the.
We should see. The tree has been pretty uncontested for the longest time. He's gonna get a pop flash, swings out, gets a first kill. Now Whiffin with the AWP will not
so
find it,
good.
and he gets killed as Tree says, "You are not gonna come through here on my watch." Final kill from Extinct, and we're going to OT again.
Oh my goodness, Vacancy. I absolutely know what the call was before that final round of of Alaska. The call was don't be scared of him because they were playing very passive on this CT side. They were letting him have it, having free time everywhere. Double up. 360. He's been playing Ivy. It's going to be a luxurious position to have an AWP in, and it gives Artist even that much more freedom. That T side, 8 since we just haven't seen them go Ivy at all. And I think, well, it's what I mentioned earlier, right? They have talked about Ivy. They've just decided, nah, screw it.
We're not contesting it. Look at Giraffe, low HP already. Moss is on top of him. Vacancy will lose the duel this time around. Moss is saying, I've learned what you're trying to do, and I'm not going to allow it happening again. Player advantage and HP similarity when it comes to Moz and Giraffe.
It's going to be a double push, extra push in. Extinct. Going to go for the hunt. Finds the low HP Moz.
But he does look some of his own health points in the process. At the same time, the two AWPs, none of them has revealed their position just yet. 1 minute to go. Artist pushed all the way. That's insanity and confidence. He's exuding presence. He's finding so much information, and that's why we see the other 3 teammates rotating all the way. He's going to continue to go on their tail, and he has zoomed in already, about to find a shot. In a matter of seconds, it's going to be the easiest kill of his life.
Somehow, Prime is not being spotted yet.
Gives away his position. Artist, what a mistake. He's going to have to run back, and now
that's beautiful.
What a call. They're going out. Artist has to go all the way to Ivy, and now the bomb will get planted. Extinct tries to find something in Giraffe, the second AWP player. He's gonna go out, gets the kill onto Wolfie. The top player on the scoreboard gets out. Tree swinging out, gets a nice headshot onto one. Dutchy, 1 versus 4. It is not gonna be enough as we get 13th for Alaska.
Every single angle Gatesons had to contest. Tree, I know for a fact he was standing up after that round because he wasn't moving for a while, and you heard his voice just as well as I did. We need to put mics next to the players. Well, not next to the players, but just close enough so you can hear them yell. But don't actually hear what they're yelling. But
yeah, maybe cameras.
Yeah, I've actually suggested that multiple times.
Cameras, no mics.
For like, especially for the 9 p.m. game, like put the camera to the side. That's brilliant.
Second OT round, no AWP. We're gonna get 8 Sins trying to use the op for themselves. Whiffin on the T side, hasn't really used it that much. Maybe this time he's gonna find some aggressive players.
I think this is legit the first time we're seeing the T side AWP out. Oh, second time actually.
Look at the boost.
It's the final round.
Let's see if it's gonna be successful. Whiffin, very nice jump over. Meanwhile, Extinct takes out Wolfie again. Maybe the overconfidence of the Wolf being punished a little bit, and now it's gonna be Whiffin versus Artist.
Again.
Such a back and forth, man. Artist spots the barrel, and he's gonna have the first tempo, gonna win the duel. And now 2-player advantage goes for more leg shot for 20 damage. That's kind of impossible, and Alaska going back to their winning ways.
Alaska, what they were really doing here. I mean, that call that came into the last round of regulation. That call that came into the last round of regulation. Don't be scared of him. Don't be fearful. And that just instantly continues into overtime. And one thing we're seeing now as well, especially on a map like Terrain, where all of a sudden you're seeing T rounds being won, what does happen in a situation like this is all of a sudden, when you're on that T side, you're not fighting half of your rounds against 5-7s. Right? You're not fighting against MP9s. You're not fighting against lower util. Everything is there. And Alaska have just realized what their problem has been. Why 8sins were even allowed to be on 12 by them. And that was, they were scaredy cats.
Artist finds the opening onto Moz, but Prime gets the trade. Now, 8sins with a slight advantage I would consider is on the T side. They need to not rush.
You need to stay calm indeed. It's going to be Giraffe again on these sort of off-position plays. Through a smoke was the attempt. It's an equal trade. Still good for a round here for 8sins at least.
Giraffe is getting curious inside. Extinct wants to reposition himself. Has a teammate coming up the street, doubling up with him, and he's not going to be expected here.
There's the IGL.
But Prime and Dutchy.
1v2.
They're going to go B. They're sacking the site. They know where he is. Prime actually picks up the AWP. Not something we've seen him pull up this entire upper final.
Both Wolfie and Trino currently sitting on 28 kills. It would be 3 map points and a 30 bomb for this young new addition to Alaska. He could put them on their back to get that beautiful opportunity to get those VRS points, and so many off positions. There's no smoke for 360 here, so he's going to have to stick this. He's going to have to fight these fights.
Gives away his position. Prime holds the angle with the off, puts an end to that attempt, and it's not going to even be close. Such a hard bomb site to retake.
Pretty much impossible. That's why all the clutches on that bomb site have been so hype. We're seeing Prime, who arguably had disappeared in the second half.
Absolutely.
He was around, I think it was like 12 kills.
Yep,
12 kills first half. He's on 18 now, and we're already well into overtime. So I mean, it's surviving that one round. It's that one buffer that you have.
But it's one round on the T side, bro. That's a lot, Sheep. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
But
33% of rounds on the T side is not what we often see on this map.
it's been a while since we've been here. 8sins on the CT side, and again, we're seeing that Ivy pressure being exerted by Alaska. Looking to intimidate, looking to lower that attack from the 8sins defense.
I love to see the different default approaches from both of these squads.
Yeah, really heavy on inside for 8sins, really heavy on Ivy for Alaska. Starting more spread out does lend itself to a lot of different round endings. But 8sins have to be wary of this inner rotate.
Very much slow round as Artist is hoping for someone to give him a chance, and Whiffen seems to want to get curious.
I think Whiffen is smart enough to know not to peek this.
Should hope so.
At this point. There's going to be a flashbang. That's going to be completely not touching anyone. Rotate now coming in late. What is nice for Moz is he is hidden from this initial attack if they go through upper on the inner bomb side, but is it going to be worth it? I mean, we have Whiffen on that AWP. He's rotated all the way away. That's a quick one. Wolfie finding Artist.
HE. That's not going to be enough. Extinct, you need to wide clear that corner. Dutchy stands his ground, only down to 47 on the back of that HE under his legs. Whiffen spots the player in ramp, gets the kill to advantage, and Dutchy gets the kill onto Extinct, who did not clear his corner. Whiffen, ooh.
One
Top
bullet.
angle to hit goes again.
Ooh.
Double hit onto the planter. He gets wallbang, reloading the gun, and now Giraffe finds the first in a 1 versus 4. Goes for the second.
No.
That's incredible. Can he get anything else? They're both swinging. Giraffe has to stay alive, and he gets
Over the
headshotted
top.
over the train. What a round from 8sins, but Giraffe started to make me sweat, Sheep.
Oh my goodness, we've seen some incredible clutches there on that very bomb side, on the bomb defense. It's going to be Dutchy. There must have been pixels at most showing. This one is the best. Bob, so clean, man.
We said how quiet he's been, but
But look at, it's like, I think it's oh no, it's not even through that wall. It's so accurate from Dutchy. Because if that shot misses, Artist completely just rotates behind that bomb, and all of a sudden it's another one-on-one fight that you're having there.
Can we talk about the op shot? Gets the kill in the wall,
Yeah,
and
the
planter.
tag.
Sensational.
Last bullet as well. If he misses that, that round goes way different.
Absolutely, but it didn't happen that way. We got nice HEs on top of Vacancy, who's also been reduced to a bit of a quiet in the last several rounds.
I'm starting to come to grips with the fact that we might actually see 8sins legit beating Alaska here on Train.
I would love to see that. You know me, I love myself an underdog tree playing right behind the smoke. Might try to go for something sneaky there alongside Giraffe, but that's the bomb.
Big pressure.
Moz fakes out. It's actually Dutchy doubling gap. Giraffe down to low. Gets a
Dutchy.
second headshot. He's relentless.
Dutchy.
They're finding one after the other and Extinct. That's how his teammates are right now. Completely disappearing with 15. And we're back to Inferno. Map point in the favor of 8sins on this train, just like map 1.
All of a sudden, we've seen Alaska be the team to punish 8sins on all of their mistakes across both of the maps that we have seen. On Inferno, 8sins had to play brilliantly to even defeat them. And now on Train, we're seeing mistakes being punished. Dutchy had no coverage at all, right? There was no smoke, no flashbangs, no nothing. He just had a clean fight onto 3. easily getting him, and we are actually seeing a map point, a match point, a grand final point for 8sins here.
Tell your friends to tune in, because this is looking amazing. And Dutch swings out and gets punished by Giraffe.
Prime is going to need to do a lot. He's been slow, but he
What
can
an
do
action.
this.
It's Whiffin getting the first one. Extinct, 1 for 1, but Wolfie finds the second. He breaks 30, he goes for more.
This is a 2v3, and it's not a 2v3 that Alaska are going to be enjoying, because they've been stopping these duo plays very, very nicely. It's going to be just Whiffin on the bomb set. He needs to hit 1. That's the minimum
Gets out.
here.
Smart play from him. Retreating, realizing we've got the numbers, it's okay, let's go for the retake. I don't want to lose my life. This is the shot. Giraffe will not overcommit as he crosses side. Whiffin, you need to stay alive, don't get too curious. Volley will push him away. Bomb gets planted.
Set up for that retake. We're going to get one going through Pop Dog. That's going to be one of the more important ones, but will that fight be too early? You see them waiting. Giraffe goes ahead.
Gets the first one. He's going to find the second. The answer is no, as Wolfie is on 31. Artist gets involved and he loses the duel.
Done!
Wolfie has done it. 8sins with the upset of the tournament. Alaska go down to the lower bracket final.
I've just heard about 30 people celebrating that win at the PCs themselves. 16-14. Of course, it is Wolfie. 32 frags on this entire map. He has been the hero. A man that at some point told me he was never playing in Epic Land ever again. He is here. He is being Alaska. The favorites go down in the upper final.
He's one match away from being crowned champion.
Oh my goodness, that is ridiculous. Dutchie has had a second place finish before already. Oh man, what a brilliant, brilliant game. And I cannot sing enough praises to Dutchie, because that guy, I mean, the responses have been near flawless. All the calls, all the team plays, it's been so damn good. But I think we got our MVP for at least this game. Absolutely. Because it's been on train that this has been decided, and it's been decided by one man. One man wolf. It's Wolfie.
One werewolf.
It's absolutely an insane performance. Legit one of the better ones I've seen in these Epic Land halls, including importance next to how well he played.
Like I've been saying, the classic cliche, it's pressure makes diamond, and I really thought they were going to falter there, as we see Whiffin. This is the vacancy clutch, the 1 versus 2 that he converted. I thought this might be at the end. I thought Alaska are just going to start cruising from this point onwards, but it wasn't the case. A couple of back-to-back timeouts, and 8sins got back into it. They took us to OT, and they took it over the finish line. What a way to enter your grand final for tomorrow, as Alaska are now going to have to wake up early and face another strong opponent that we're going to find out in just a few hours.
Yeah, it's going to be starting quite soon, that lower bracket round 5, but let's breathe. One thing I want to bring us back to, I think, the moment of the game, which was round number 22, where for the second round in a row, we've had timeouts called every single round.
Absolutely.
And 8sins decide to go with Wolfie on an AK, 2 Tech 9s, and 2 Glocks. And one Galil was in there or something, but that round actually working out the way that it did was insane.
Poetry. It was absolutely poetry. It was in those last couple of rounds of regulation, 3 very crucial rounds. The vacancy clutch.
Yep.
They somehow got back down again. We then witnessed Artist purchasing the glass cannon AWP, getting a 3K, and putting his team in the prime position. And then the round after that replicated with the AK-47. So those 3 rounds, you know, you might be looking at the scoreboard and you see, wow, 30 rounds have been played. But those 3 rounds tell us the story of the back and forth of what went on and how 8sins managed to pull up such an impressive victory.
That has been one of the most impressive streaks I have seen. Like, most impressive round streaks I have seen on the Epic Lands floors in all my 5 editions. So that's, well, that has been truly amazing. I cannot wait. We got 3 more games to go. Is that the best part?
That's the best part. 3 more games to go, including a coming up best of 3 to decide
That's going to be epic.
who will be facing Alaska tomorrow morning. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. If you like the action here at EPIC LAN, there's still more to come your way.